What up? What up? What's going on? Back again. I'm like a 2 day hiatus. Drinking some ginger tea. I'm not sick, but just making sure I'm good. Hope everybody's been well. What's going on? Come on in. Tap like, tap like. Bring out the popcorn. I'm gonna see how long my mic lasts. Might uh run out of power in my mic. What's good, Costa Rica? What's going on? Got a lot of love for brothers and sisters down there. There's a lot of us down there. I heard a lot of us ain't going to. A lot of us been going to Costa Rica. I might have to go. I'm gonna hit Belize first, but definitely want to hit Costa Rica. Somebody said 20 is a lot. I don't know what that means. 20 what? Yeah, I'll go down there. Everybody keep tapping like, tapping like. Let's get to 2K likes. When we get to 2K, I'm gonna bring people up. We're gonna talk. It's gonna be great. Tap like if let's see, let me think of something creative. Tap like if you put milk in the bowl before your cereal. Tap like if you put milk in the bowl before your cereal. I think this really depends on what cereal you eat. You know what I'm saying? I think it really depends. Tap like if you use Shea Moisture products in your hair. I said, who does that? Honestly, my wife, she does that. She's the only one that like does that. But if you do it too, tap like if you put oil in your hair. Tap like if you put shea butter on your skin or cocoa butter. You know what I'm saying? Tap like if you could still see your lips with your mouth closed. You know what I'm saying? Close your mouth, still see your lips. Tap like. Tap like if you wear your Air Forces clean and crisp, not dirty and beat up. You don't really like the grunge look on Air Forces. WW is white women. Tap like, thank you. Thank you for the gifts. Tap like if the tip of your nose is round. You can't really cut glass that way. You know what I'm saying? Tap like if you've never used sunblock in your life. You know what I'm saying? If you've never used sunblock, please tap like. If you have used sunblock before, you can stick around. We want to hear from you too. Um, let's see. Let me think of something for them. Tap like if you only know one NWA song. I'm black and I use sunblock. Well, don't tap like then. We ain't talking about you. You can't tap like. We don't want you or your friends on our live. I'm playing. I'm gonna bring some people up.
Yo,
Uh, my microphone died on me, but yeah, what's going on?
man, just having a weird day, but a good day, man. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Did you change your name on here?
Nah, it's always been this name.
Oh,
Always,
okay.
yeah, the same name, always.
Okay. Well, welcome to the live. Could you give us, for the audience, your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Oh, I'm up there. So I'm 40. My race would be black. Both my parents is black. Pronouns he, him.
And your race? Oh, you said
Um,
black. You said black.
yeah,
All right.
black.
All right. Go ahead and answer the questions for us, top to bottom. Let's know what you think.
Can anyone experience racism? I would have to say no. And me being a black man, I feel like I experience it every day and too much. And when will it ever end?
I hear that.
And should white women be considered a minority? Oh, definitely not. They're benefiting from that patriarchy every single day. And can black and white tea cultures fully coexist? No. I wish it would have happened, but like I think we're going on 400, 500 years and it's not coexisting still. So I wonder why.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
is modern Christianity racist? Well, this is where we get a little touchy. So,
Hmm.
now have you ever heard of the brothers on the corner who are using the Bible to benefit us?
Would that be the Hebrew Israelites?
Yeah.
Hmm. I wouldn't say
So,
they're. I wouldn't say they fall under the umbrella of modern Christianity. I think they're Jewish.
so the thing is, I am a Hebrew Israelite from the
Hmm.
tribe of Judah.
Hmm.
And I believe that the Bible is a history book for us, and everything that the Bible is talking about is for us. At the end of the day, it's going to benefit us, and we are going to get out of this racist society through God. God is going to help us get out of this.
Hmm.
So, as far as us using the Bible to condemn the colonizer and the slave master, this is what I do every day.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I'm not for or against that, but I was talking about modern Christianity. I think you skipped over the modern word.
Oh, so yeah, I'm totally against that, and you'll never catch me in a church. No, 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 no. Because they're skipping over the parts in the Bible that is condemning the slave master and condemning the colonizer. They
Mm-hmm.
skip right over that. And they say, don't read that part. Don't read Obadiah in the Bible.
Mm-hmm. I hear that. Yeah. And
No.
then there's also books that were left out.
Yeah, like the
Uh,
Apocrypha.
yeah, the Ethiopian Bible. But yeah. Well, thanks for starting us off, man. Appreciate you coming up.
Yeah, no doubt.
You can hang with us if you'd like. Zev, could you give us your age, race, and
Yeah,
pronouns, please?
sure. Yeah, my name is Zev, and I am 27. Ashkenazi Jew, he, him.
Are you
And so, I
a
mean,
white
go ahead.
Jewish
White, yeah,
person?
yeah,
Okay.
like European ancestry.
All right.
Then you
And
have Sephardi, which is more Spanish.
okay. Part Spanish as in Spain?
Yeah, like Spain.
Yeah, so different flavors of Europe. And go ahead and answer the questions for us, top to bottom, please.
Sure. So, can anyone experience racism? I mean, I don't think that everyone experiences it. I think anyone can, but I don't think. I think that there are people who suffer from it as like a part of society, and then there are people who kind of experience it on a much smaller scale, and that they can't be compared necessarily. But I do think that just any you know judging anybody based and making assumptions based on anybody based off of how they look, what their skin color is, I mean, it's just not. I think that I consider that racism. I don't think that's okay.
Making
Should we be
assumptions based
considered?
on how they look. Do you think
Yeah.
there's a superiority component to that?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that naturally people, I mean, I view it as like, I think people do that naturally. And I think it used to be a defense mechanism because it was saying, okay, well, we got our group and they've got their group. And this is how we differentiate who's on our side, who's on the other side. I think that that's kind of like like even goes back to like tribal, how people have been. But I think that people, people always think that they are superior to the other people.
I think people
I think
that think that there's, I think people that innately think that they're superior think that other people think that way too.
yeah, that's for sure.
You know what
It's
I'm saying? It's
interesting
kind of like
because I actually,
projecting.
yeah, absolutely, and they think they want to knock them down a peg. That's for sure. I think it's interesting though because just heard something that talked about how you find this kind of thing not just in black white. You find it in different, um, different types of Middle Eastern people who are, somebody else might see as the same exact thing, but somebody from Lebanon might hate somebody from Turkey or Syria and say, well, well, we're better than them because they're just Syrians and we're Lebanese. We're proud of
Yeah, well,
who
that's
we are.
tribalism. That's not racism.
Yeah, I do. I think that they can be very linked though sometimes.
I think sometimes
But
Europeans
that
want
I
to
do.
connect the dots between those two of those so that it can take the onus off of racism.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
I
possible.
think
I'd
they're
have to
very
think
different.
about that.
I think they're very different. Tribalism was not created to enslave or colonize anyone. So that's just
Yeah,
chauvinism at best. You know, chauvinism means
I mean,
you have a
yeah, and
bias towards your own identified group. So
I mean,
chauvinism.
tribalism though.
Hmm.
Tribalism though. I mean, I mean, even in Africa, in Benin, I mean, you had tribalism,
Hmm.
right? Like you had the Benin Africans who were enslaving other Africans and selling them on the slave market.
That's very
Um,
typical of a mixed European to say. You know, do you believe
no, it's
marshmallows and
just I'm
mayonnaise
just
together
it,
can
it
make banana pudding?
no, no. But
Okay.
I mean, it's true though. Like I'm just saying things that's a thing that happened. I'm not, it actually happened. I'm not
No, it
excuse. I
actually
don't think that there's
happened
any.
because of Europeans
Yeah, I mean,
and
I don't think there's any
also
excuse for racism.
non-Africans, also non-Africans. I think you should take a more in-depth look at history before you start talking about that.
Okay. Well, I mean,
The
I
African
obviously.
Origin of Civilization by Sheikh Anta Diop is a book you can start with, or The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams, another great scholar, two doctors that you should start looking. If you want to tell the story of Africa's history, don't start with what colonizers told you. Maybe look at what Africans themselves know about their own history.
Sure. You wanna? Could you leave those books in the like in the comments? I could screenshot it.
Uh, that's a lot
Or
of
just
typing,
what were
man,
they
to be
called? I can
honest.
write it down.
That's The Destruction of Black Civilization and the African Origin of Civilization. You're really going to love that one if you're
Sorry, you
Jewish.
cut out a little bit. Hold on one second. Hey, I can't really hear you anymore. So,
I
I
haven't
mean,
said
it's a
anything.
good conversation. So, okay, yeah, sorry, it cut out though. But now I can
No,
hear you.
I didn't say anything. I said the destruction of black civilization and the African origin of civilization.
Okay,
Those are
destruction
two
of black.
books by Africans, two doctors telling Africa's story. Some of us are so quick to believe the Pasty Pals version of Africa's history, and then they come on my live and spew out what the colonizers have rewritten in African history. If I want to learn Jewish
I
history,
mean,
I'm going to look at Moses. I'm going to look at Jewish people. I'm going to look at, you know, Josephus and certain historians of, the day. If I want to know Africa's history, I'm going to look at Africans. I want to know what they think. I'm not going to look at what the people that colonized and enslaved them have taught me. It's just being
yeah,
objective.
I mean, I think absolutely. I think that you can never educate yourself too much, but obviously you, you only ever know what you've been told. Um, and I mean, that's
If I
that's all I'm.
if I went to your
Everything that we're
neighbor's
talking about is what I've learned over
if
time.
I went to your house, right, and let's say you don't have any pew pews, you know what a pew pew is? It makes
Yeah, I
little
mean,
pieces of
yeah,
metal fly around.
got you.
All right, so let's say you don't have
Hmm.
one, and I go to your neighbor's house. Well, I go to your house first, and I say, you know what? Um, Sell me your neighbor, or I'm gonna give him a pew pew, and he'll come and sell you to me. Um, and then because you don't want me to give your neighbor a pew pew and sell you to me, you say, you know what? I'll do it. I don't like my neighbor anyway. His dog craps on my lawn every day. You know what? I'll do it. I'd rather do what's in the best interest of my house than, have you go over there and give him a pum pum to come and take us away. Um, yes, you did do what you did. However, the conditions that made you giving me your neighbor profitable and the punishment for if you didn't do it means that I myself am responsible for your actions. It's funny how we can watch the movie Saw. Saw is a horror movie, and in the horror movie, there's a guy called Jigsaw. He doesn't unalive one person in the whole movie. However, he puts them in a certain environment to where they have to either unalive each other or unalive themselves in order to get free. And in that movie, you would still say Jigsaw is the unaliver. So we understand it when we're watching movies, and we understand it when we're thinking with a little bit more critical thinking, a little bit more nuance. So what happened in Africa did not happen without the help of the transatlantic slave trade and Europeans that benefited from it.
Interesting. And yeah, I didn't never heard about that. Although I don't doubt you for at all. Something that I'd have to learn more about.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. Very very interesting, and I'll definitely look into that. We can move down the list.
Mm-hmm.
Your next question was, should white women be considered a minority? I mean, just personally, I don't really think so. I think that all people are, I don't think so. Um, can black and white culture fully coexist? I have to say yeah, and I'll tell you why. I think that we coexist now more than we ever have, and yes, we still have a lot of work. We're definitely not where we want to be, but you know what? If you anyone who says we haven't made progress from 70 years ago to
I
today, I
say
mean
it.
their eyes are
I
closed.
say we haven't.
I, I think we've made a
I say
ton
we
of
haven't made
progress.
progress. Nah.
I
But
think that the fact that you can be on here having this, and stating these opinions freely without
on a
anybody
phone
coming
that
and
was
telling
made
you
from
that.
materials that were stolen from my homeland, right? Like cobalt in these phones, my cousins in Africa are getting paid pennies while Apple sells me this phone for $1,000. Um, I don't see how I'm benefiting.
But you bought the phone. So you
Yes.
bought the phone. So
Me buying.
you're contributing.
Actually, I didn't choose to come to this country and contribute. That's the difference. It's funny
But you chose
how,
to buy your phone though.
yeah, because there's a difference between survival. Once again, um, the saw analogy. If I put you in a room and tell you that you have to saw off your own leg in order to
But
eat,
no one told you you needed to buy. No one made you buy a phone. You could live without a phone just fine.
well, at the same time, it's really hard to be able to maneuver in the world without a phone these days. But let's say, are you saying that I should go live in a grass hut like my ancestors? Is that what you're trying to say? You're saying I should go live on a plantation
No,
and
no,
eat beans?
No, not at all. What I'm
Okay,
saying
so if you're not
is
saying
that
that,
it's not a.
then me
Hold
choosing to
on.
have a quality of life on a land which I did not choose to come, speaking a language I did not choose to speak, me being able to survive within a system that I cannot reverse, stop, or control, is not the same as me choosing, like, say, your ancestors that chose to come to America and participate in this oppressive system.
Yeah, I mean, we got oppressed too, and we marched. I mean, the Jewish people marched with Martin Luther King. So,
Yeah, but after
I
they
mean, we
chose to
definitely
come
didn't get it
here,
that easy.
and after they chose to come here and take part in what was going on to my ancestors. So after they chose to come here and take part, they didn't march enough. That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean? I mean, we came here because I mean
You
we
came
went
here.
we had a
That's
hol
it. That's the
we had a hol
privilege. That's the privilege. You
no,
just said it.
yeah, well
You walked
we had a
into the jigsaw
Holocaust.
room, right? You
We had a
walked into the
Holocaust. You're
room
saying that the
knowing what was
Holocaust
going
is a
on.
privilege?
They knew exactly what was going on, and they walked boldly into the room.
You're saying
My
that you're saying
ancestors
that
woke up in this room. We did not
you're saying that
choose to walk into
the
this room.
Holocaust is a
That is the
privilege?
difference.
Is that what you're saying?
Are you saying that no black
It's not
people
a
were unalived
privilege.
in the Holocaust? You saying that
I'm saying
Leopold II didn't exist and unalived more people than there were of your people that were unalived in the Holocaust? I don't want to get into the oppression Olympics, but
no, but I don't. But here's the
all
thing:
oppression of
is I
all
think
other people
no,
has
but
happened
that's
to
what it is.
African
That's what it is,
Americans and black people in general. But what has happened to us
right?
has not happened to y'all. What has happened to y'all has happened to us. There's been worse
Right.
atrocities.
So we should stand together as opposed to apart and comparing
All right,
ourselves
then
and saying
stand together.
I'm worse. Be-
Then stand together. I'm just
but the
giving you a
thing
little bit
is,
of correction.
it makes it hard to stand together when you tell
When
me
you won't
that
listen.
what we went through it wasn't bad enough for me to join you in your in that, because you're saying, listen, you think you got it bad, no one cares about how you had it. It doesn't matter because we also had that, and
No,
it was worse for us.
we had it much worse than what you had. Much
But
worse.
that's what I'm saying. But we
And it's
both
still
we
continuing.
And it's still going on.
right.
I know. He's sitting in his Anglo-Saxon phenotype and sitting here telling me
Exactly.
I should feel bad for him. But
Yeah.
I mean
Listen, I
honestly I don't.
you know no
And
one wants.
and
I don't want any sympathy. I really don't. I'm happy with my life. I do very, thank God I work hard. I do well, and but
I
I don't
know.
need sympathy. I really don't.
I don't think you do either.
You know,
But I think
I
if you
believe
want to
that
be the Superman that you think you are, then I believe you and your community have a lot more work to do because
I
I don't know if any
but
Black Lives
let me
Matter
ask,
movement or
what
any.
let me ask you, what do you know about the Jewish community? You earlier got very
Mhm.
upset about at me for telling you about the Benin
Just the
Africans
fact that you
and
said I
tell.
was
Hold
upset
on.
lets me know how much internalized anti-blackness you have.
No,
Never said I was upset with you. You have
whatever you
not
want to
made me
use,
upset. You haven't surprised me one bit.
whatever word,
As soon as you told me
whatever
that you
adjective,
were As soon as you
whatever
told me that
adjective
you were of European
or
descent,
verb,
I knew exactly how this conversation was going to go. Nothing has angered me.
no, whatever verb works. Upset, whatever it is. I don't know
I
what the
was
proper
not
word is.
emotional at all.
I'm not saying
Thank you, Karen.
emotional, but what word would you like me to use?
No emotion. I did not get upset or anything. Honestly, you have not said anything surprising or upsetting. Thank you,
Okay.
Carmen.
Well, whatever it is, however you felt you educated me, if you want, if that's how you want me to describe it. Well, it seems like you are making assumptions about how Jewish people act, and I don't. What is
I
your
don't make
expertise on that?
assumptions about anything about.
Where are you get? You're saying that Jewish people haven't done enough for you. Yeah, Jewish people haven't done
No, no,
anything
I wasn't
to
talking
stand
about
up
Jewish
against the
people.
bad things that happen. But
I was
it
talking
is
about
what you
white
said,
people.
though.
Talking about white people. You're
Okay.
white, ain't you?
Well, I mean, I'm a Jew. I'm an
Oh no, no, I
Ashkenazi
don't care who
Jew.
you
We have
pray
our
to.
own.
I don't care who you pray to.
Right.
You're
Well, we
white
have
though.
our own like genetics. Like we
Race
don't.
don't care who you
We
pray
actually.
to. Your own
If you test
genetics. Oh my
me,
goodness,
we
eugenicists? Are
do.
you serious?
So
Did
when
you
you
explain
apply
that?
for a job, what do you check?
Let me tell you this.
Genetics.
If I take a test of my DNA, it'll say Ashkenazi Jew. It will not say, European.
Genetics?
What do
We
you
do.
check
We
on the
even not
census?
only that, we even have our own diseases that only
Oh man,
Ashkenazi Jewish people can get,
you believe what
such as
Schmittler
taste.
believed? You
No,
believe you have different genetics?
such as Tay-Sachs. If you look up Tay-Sachs right now, it's a Jew. It's a disease that only Ashkenazi Jewish people get, and that's because
Do you
they
have
are
a
susceptible to
driver's
it.
license? Do you have a driver's
Nah, he gotta
license?
go. He gonna get me
What does
taken
it
down.
say?
Listen, I don't know. He talking like Schmittler. I can't have that. I'm sorry, y'all. I wanted to continue to, demayonnaise that conversation, but he gonna get me up out of
I'm
here.
pretty
We
sure
can't
his
have that.
driver's license says white.
Yeah, it does.
What's up,
We
bro?
can't. He started talking like Schmittler. I don't know what that was. Like, how
So
does who you pray
crazy.
to give you a different genetics? That's crazy.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow. The lies they tell, the lies they tell.
That's crazy.
The self
Um,
delusion.
you're right.
You ask him what
Um,
his driver's
oh,
license say, he went left.
yeah, far left.
He
No,
talking
he
about
went right. He went far right.
he talking about the disease that's
Hey, Socks.
that's what's the word I'm trying to do?
He he said
Like
it was Tay.
he they are genetically predisposed to certain diseases. That sounds like if the same group of people dispose of certain disease, that sounds like some inbreeding to me.
Yeah, nah, that's something else. I don't know what he's talking about. Disease don't care who you pray to. You're just European. Go
European.
ahead.
That's
Yeah. Go ahead.
he presents white.
Yeah, he white. It don't matter who you pray to. Hart, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
Yeah, sure. 25 black, she, her.
All right, thank you. And go ahead, sister, and answer the questions for us.
Um, can anyone experience racism? Um, I think currently only non-white people can experience racism. Should white women be considered a minority? What is that? I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but I don't think so. Can black and
They
white
are
cultures
considered a
fully
minority.
coexist? Oh, they are? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
did
didn't
you
know
know
that.
that?
Um,
Yeah, they are.
yeah. Can black and white or YT cultures fully coexist? I don't think so. Because I feel like all of white culture is about exclusion and like advantaging themselves and like, oppressing other people. So I don't really see, I mean, they are technically existing side by side, but I don't think they're like peacefully coexisting.
Hmm.
Is modern Christianity racist? Yeah, modern Western Christianity definitely.
Okay. Thank you, sister, for cleansing the live, man. Thank you so much. She just cleaned up all the mayonnaise, man. Shout out to y'all for sending the gifts too. What's his name? Ashkenazi bread was up here. Um, Drop, what's going on?
I had to unmute. What's going on, brother? How you feeling, man?
I'm well. I'm well. And go ahead and answer the questions for us, brother.
Can anyone experience racism? No, not everybody. And I agree with the young lady. And also to point out for anybody who think that black people can be racist, we can exhibit racist behavior, but we cannot there we don't have a system in place to oppress you. So as an individual, y'all stop crying. Should white women be considered a minority? They are in the big picture. They are. And can black and white cultures fully exist? Not peacefully. And I think she gave a good answer to that. But my thing is the recessiveness of YT people. It makes it impossible for them to coexist because they will be then absorbed and cease to exist. So I think that fear of not existing as a white-skinned people will never allow them to be peaceful. And is modern Christianity racist? It has always been racist because throughout time, since the emergence of white people out of Europe, they have detested and feared anything darker than them. So, no, yes, I think it's racist. Has been and always is and has been always been racist. And I apologize, y'all. I get caught up in my words sometimes, but I mean well.
So you said white women are considered a minority, but should they be?
I think they are a part of the majority in this country. You know, white
I
people
would
are a
say
minority.
they are technically the majority. There's more white tea women in this country than anyone else.
Yeah, they're a part of
Yeah.
the majority, but you know, they get oppressed by so quote unquote white men. But I think, and I will quote one of my co-creators, white tea people are only oppressed by the sun. Nothing else has ever tried to oppress them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, they fight us with the sun now, and I issue a challenge to any melanin recessive people. You know, I think we should have a sunbathing contest for about 2 days, sun up to sundown, butt naked, no sunscreen, and let's see how the world looks after about a year.
Yeah,
Anybody up for that challenge?
somebody came up here one time and asked me if I would want to reverse the roles and have thin Libyans as slaves on my plantation to get reparations. And I was like, hell no, what we gonna do with y'all? Y'all can't work in the sun. We we can't, we can't do nothing
We
with
have,
y'all.
we don't need to oppress them. We will absorb them. That's why they keep their foot on everybody's necks. The thing is, we do not have the fear of not existing that attributes to all the violence, anxiety, and everything else that comes with being white tea. That's the problem. You know, and I think I don't know if you was in there, brother X, but brother X, brother Legend. But if I ever given you the 83-13 analogy,
What's that?
oh, it's you know, if you think of it like this, if you take 100 mice and you got, you know, approximately 13% of them are white as snow, have the whitest fur ever, and
Mm-hmm.
the other 87 have further off white all the way to midnight black, the 87. And then
Mm-hmm.
how many generations would it be before there are no more pure white mice? About one or two, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
you think about it. After the expansion of the white mice out into the world, how are there any more white mice? The reason is the fear of not existing. Everything that has been done,
Oh yeah, Francis Cress Wilson.
everything that has been done is in the name of a white skin that mean nothing, because when it comes to us being angry or us being frustrated because of the active action of their fear, they tell us we're all one people. But the thing is, they can't treat it that way. So it's like a lie they tell themselves. You know, the white superiority, all that stuff. No, it's a fear of absorption, because somehow there's a illogical attachment to the color of a fur that means nothing, because we quote unquote supposed to be all one species of mice. And I just use that analogy so I don't have to say people.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that very fear is like a mental hubris that somehow thinks that this special one is really not, because in
Mm.
the natural course of nature, they would not exist. If we were on level playing fields, they would be absorbed. But that fear of absorption makes them more, not so much cunning, but more, you know, intuitive in warlike tactics. They take gunpowder that was used for celebrations and turn it into weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They are not more industrious than anything than anybody, but war, destruction, and mayhem, all for the sake of preserving a skin color that means absolutely nothing.
Mm.
I land my
Wow.
plane with that one.
Yeah, well, the ISIS Papers is a book by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing that also dives deep into that. Appreciate you sharing that with us, brother. And Infinite, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
34, half black, half white. No pronouns, or just whatever you want to call me.
So when you turn to one side, this side is like thin-lipped and pointy-nosed, and then when you turn to this side, it looks like, you know, King Solomon or the Queen of Sheba.
Yeah, you and imagine the dichotomy
Are you
inside
like
the
Two-Faced,
skull.
like split right down the middle?
Yeah. So yeah, mixed.
So I would say that there's no such thing as half white to white people. They didn't write that part of race down. So, but
Well, yeah, I don't really have a race, to be honest with you.
okay.
Um,
He don't want to be black. All right, let's go. Go ahead. Answer the questions for us, top to bottom.
yeah, I do think anybody can experience racism.
Of
I
course
think
you
that
do.
hatred is just something that anybody can have, and I think you can look at the genocide in Africa to look at some of the things that you could say that hatred happens at the highest level throughout all cultures, and the question would
Hatred.
be to the
So
whole.
that's what racism is, just hatred, right?
Yeah,
Did your
hating
mother teach
people
you that?
due to the race.
Okay. So hatred. That's what it is. Okay. Whole bunch of
Yeah,
hatred.
just blind. You
Are
could
they
say
just
that's
mean?
hatred for a
Are they just
reason.
really mean to black people? That's what racism is, just being mean.
Of course, it's not just being mean.
Okay.
There's a bigger implementation of that hatred in terms of what we're
Hmm.
talking about.
So
But
tell me a time when black people have colonized a European country or Asian country, or when is the time when Africans enslaved anywhere, any people that were non-African went to their country and forced them to work in building Africa.
are you you're not talking? You don't know about the Moorish Empire?
I do know about the Moors. However, the Moors uh, built Spain, so that's not the same as colonizing a people, unfortunately.
You don't think that the Africans colonized Europe?
Um, Europe didn't exist when Africa created Greece and Rome.
Yeah.
Greece and Rome are African inventions. They were not
Yep.
European, and then Africa went there and said, "No, we're going to take all of this." Um, European European culture derives from the Africans that settled there first.
Yep. Yep. I agree with that. What was the need for the Portugal king to throw the Africans out of Europe?
Because they had an edict that taught them that anyone that was not white was a sinner, and they were able to overthrow the Moors, who had largely, a lot of them were Muslim, and they decided that anyone with dark skin was a sinner. And then racism begat more racism, and here we are today.
Yeah, and I think that's an assumption of what we could come up with like plausible like reasons why they did that, but you could say that the number one commodity that was coming out of the place at
But
that
did they
time in
do
the
it
world.
because? But here's my thing: where does it say they did it because the people were white? Because there's plenty of documents, plenty of empirical evidence to show that what was done to Africans was done to them because they were black. That's well documented. So when we talk about racism, we're talking about racism, not talking about neighbors conquering each other. And once again, the Africans built Europe before they decided to become Christian and call themselves Europeans, because Europe is not a continent, and it wasn't a continent until Christianity uh, got its hold on the Roman Church and all that other stuff, and then they said, "Hey, let's use this to go colonize people." So you know, you can look it up. Europe is not a geological continent,
Yeah,
geographical
I was using
continent.
it as a kind of a framework of where we were talking about geologically.
Right. So
But
when you
long
say
story
Europe,
short
you
is
mean the Western Peninsula. I mean, yeah, you're saying the Western Peninsula of Asia after. the idea of race had taken shape in that region. So when you talk to me and you say Europe, I'm going to immediately know that you mean after the concept of Europe became its own separate continent, which was post the Roman Catholic Church and the edict from the Pope, Manifest Destiny, and the beginnings of racism.
Yeah, or just the time frame of where we were talking about would have identified what we were talking
I'm
about
trying
as
to
well.
find one white person with the last name Wigwe because he's a slave. Well, his ancestors were slaves on a plantation somewhere in Africa. I'm trying to figure out where you can find the system created by Africans by which they subjugated white people solely on their whiteness.
And so you
Like,
think that the only
is there some
reason,
somewhere named Zulu
yeah,
or something
and
because
part,
there's many English there's South Africa, I believe Nigeria is Latin, Niger, Cote d'Ivoire, there's many colonizer names put on African countries. Even the word Egypt is Greek. The original name was Kemet. So um I don't know. I'm trying to find the racism from black people. When did that happen? You finished or you done?
oh, well, every time I've said something over the last 5 minutes, you've started talking over me. So I was just waiting to see if you were done. And then I was going to respond and then see if we could have a conversation. But more or less, if you look out through all of history, I don't think that the story is out in terms of that hatred or systematic control of somebody due to their race would be the only reason why they needed to imprison the people that were here in the Americas. My take is that they had to imprison the people here because they could not connect them to being natives, because then in turn they would want to take back their land, not
Oh,
necessarily
you're down
because
the
of their
rabbit
race.
hole. Oh my God. So you're saying Africans were in America first and then they imprisoned them here. Is that what you're saying?
No, no, I'm saying that the people that were here in America were also imprisoned that were natives, and the reason why they needed to connect all basically melanated people to a certain place was to make sure that we would never want our land back.
Who is our?
The people, the indigenous people to the Americas.
Are you indigenous?
That's part of my whatever you'd call the ancestry that
No,
you
you
get.
said
Yeah.
you had no race. I'm trying to figure out what you said. I'm half white, I'm half black. Now you're saying you're indigenous. I'm all turned around, bro. Like you're having a whole identity crisis right now. What's happening?
Well, as we can tell, this conversation's been quite pleasant. Um, Appreciate
All
your
right,
time.
man. Listen, man. I feel like in the next few minutes you're gonna be Chinese. I don't know
You're a
what's going on.
disrespectful person, mind you. Just want to make that clear.
No, I'm from the East Coast. You be all right.
Yeah. All right, player. Have a good one.
Peace. All right. Dublin, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns? Dublin, you're muted. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm Irish from Ireland. I'm white and pronouns are she.
All right. Thank you for coming up. And what's your age?
I'm 50 years old.
Okay. Thank you. And go ahead and answer the questions for us, top to bottom.
The Irish did experience racism for nearly 900 years. We were oppressed for 900 years by the British. We
Racism
were
by
sold
who?
into
Oh,
slavery. They invaded us in the 11th century.
Who?
The British.
Okay, so other white people. All right, I got a serious question for you. If I mix marshmallows and mayonnaise, does that make banana pudding?
No.
So if I put marshmallows and mayonnaise in the same bowl, what color is the food in that bowl?
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm just asking because we're talking about race, and you're bringing up white on white crime.
It's not crime. Oppression is not crime.
I didn't
Slavery
say they
is not
weren't
crime.
oppressed.
It
I'm
is
just saying it's
quite
not
the
racism.
opposite. Is it
That's tribalism.
tribalism?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So selling my people to the West Indies and Barbados and into Virginia,
No, they
that is
weren't sold. That's a
tribalism?
lie.
That's not a lie. That's a fact.
No, no, that's a lie. No, it's a lie.
No, it's not. It is
Absolutely a
written
lie.
in the records in this
No, that's not a
country
lie.
and in
You're lying.
England.
Nope, you're
No,
lying.
it
I've
is
had
written
I've
in the
had people from
records.
Ireland come up here, and they say you're lying. So
No, they're not. It's written in the records. Go to
nope,
England and look at
it's
the
not.
records.
They committed a crime, and they were told they can either go to jail or go to the Americans and serve, and they chose to come to the Americas. And when they had children, their children were not enslaved. If the Irish were so oppressed during slavery, right? If there was an Irish slavery, please let me know. When was their day of freedom? When were they liberated?
In
What document
1922.
was signed to liberate the Irish people?
In 1922.
1922. So you're saying until after black people were already freed, you're saying Irish people were still slaves.
No, we were oppressed by a British force. And it still
Oppression
continued
and
well
racism is not
into
the
the
same
90s.
thing.
In
Why the hell are you
1998,
up here talking about white on white crime?
it's not crime. Oppression is not crime.
I'm not
It's not
talking about oppression.
crime.
I'm talking about racism.
Yeah, that is racism.
No, it's not.
We were regarded as no more than
That's not
savages
racism.
by the
You're wrong.
British.
And wrong.
Oh, I
Not
see. So
racism.
because they were the same color as us, it was
Exactly.
just not
Yes. Yes.
racism.
That's not racism.
We were
Yes.
regarded as
That's true.
savages to the
You're
British.
actually
You
being
understand?
sarcastic, but
We
you're
were
right.
regarded as less than nothing to the
No, they
British.
weren't. No, they weren't. Because
We
they
were.
weren't told to
Yes, we
go
were. I
outside
know
and
my
work
own
from sun up to
history.
sundown.
Heartfelt, do
I
you
know
know?
Don't
that
try and
because
tell
your
me my
skin would
own
melt off
history.
if I told you to go outside and work while the sun was up. Your skin would melt. You couldn't do it. So that's how I
What?
know you're lying.
What are you talking about?
You
I
would
know
look
my
like
own
a
history.
strawberry after that.
I would look like a strawberry, really. I was
Right,
recently in
yes. And
Lanzarote and I don't look like a
where
bloody
are the Irish
strawberry.
breeding laws?
Oh my God. You're
Show
Dublin,
going
me
do
to
a
you
have to
know what
picture
an
analyze
of
it.
ethnicity is? Does Dublin know what an ethnicity is? Like
no.
like when
Oh my
people
God.
are,
You're
do you know
just
what ethnic
so
is? Like someone,
oblivious to world history.
it's not race, it's ethnicity. If two people from two different ethnic groups, right, are fighting against each other, it's not because you
We
guys are the
weren't
same
fighting
race.
against the British. They just invaded us.
Okay, invaded, right? But you're from different ethnicities, not different races. So it's not racism, even though
All
race
right.
is.
Wait. Hold on. Because this is the thing for me, right? When she, I'm gonna let you go, brother. Drop. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold it back. All right. So I'm gonna let you go, brother. This is the thing for me, right? You came up here, I asked you your age, race, pronouns. You said you was white. Then you turn around, said you're Irish, and that white people oppressed you. So now I'm confused because if they really did oppress you, why do you identify yourself as part of the group that oppressed you? If somebody did something to me and
I
my
don't
people,
identify
I would never
myself as
come up
part of
and
the
say
group
I'm one
that
of them.
oppressed me.
So
I am an
that's what's wild
indigenous
to me
Irish
is
woman.
in
You
1922
understand?
or
I am
whatever on Ellis
indigenous to my
Island, a
country.
lot of your people decided they was going to take part in the racism and they was going to side with their
Oh, I
oppressors.
see. So
So don't you
that
feel
makes
like
up
a traitor
9
coming
million
up here
people
and
in my
calling
country,
yourself
does
white?
it? At the
I'm
time,
confused.
before they were wiped out through a
No,
Holocaust.
but you know that you're white because why did you say when I asked you your age, race, and pronouns? Why did you even say that? You would have said, I'm, non-white. You would have said
I'm
something. I don't know what you would
indigenous.
have said.
I'm white.
All
The
right. So you
Millicents
know
came to
that.
my
So then you
country two and
know
a half
that British
thousand
people
years
are what?
ago.
What race are British
And then
people?
the Celts came 500 years later.
What race of people
So
oppress your people? Or were they
What?
also white?
Oh, I see. So, basically, what you're trying to say to me is that what happened to me is absolutely just not
No, that's what you're
important
trying to say
whatsoever.
to me by coming up here and censoring
No, what I'm
Irish
trying to say to you is that
servitude
you don't get a
when I'm talking
hierarchy on
about
what
racism.
oppression
No, that's
is or
literally
what
what you're doing. You're
racism is
flipping it now. You're
because
doing
of
to
your
me what you're trying
culture
to
and
say I'm
because of
doing
your
to you.
color.
You're
It
the one
happened to
diluting
my
the conversation
country. It
about
happened to
racism.
my people.
And what happened to
Excuse
my
me.
people? See, that's what I'm saying. You're coming up here talking about your bullshit and doing to me
It's
what
not
you're trying to say I'm
bullshit.
doing to you.
History is
You're
not
gaslighting
bullshit.
me right now.
Pick up a history book.
I'm gonna let Drop speak. Go ahead, Drop.
And she's not talking about the freedom of no Irish, man. I'm looking it up right now. The post ceasefire talks led to the signing of the Anglo-English Treaty on December 6, 1921. This ended British rule in most of Ireland, and after a 10-month
No, it
transition
didn't.
period.
It didn't come into being until 1949 when we were released from the Commonwealth.
Okay, well, you can look up your facts. I'm looking at my facts, but the point
Yeah,
being
I'm
is,
looking at my facts because I'm
okay,
Irish
okay,
and I know my
sweetheart,
own
okay,
history.
sweetheart, okay. The point that you're not getting here is that anybody can be oppressed. We're not talking about specific oppression. You see what I'm saying? People can
You
oppress
are
people,
talking about specific
but
oppression.
we're talking about racism. Do you understand the difference between racism and oppression?
Yes, I do understand the
Okay,
difference.
what is racism?
It is basically based on skin color,
Right. So what you're talking about is not racism.
but an
There it
impression
is.
and
There it is. There it is. The
enslavement
rest
of
is cognitive dissonance.
people
All you gotta do is take that L. All you
is
gotta do is pick up
racism.
the L and put
We
it on
we
your
we
back and
we
just walk off.
understand. We understand there's some other white people that had a different accent came and try to fuck y'all up. That's understandable. We know this. Everybody knows this.
They were the
But
same
we also
people that
understand that
invaded
was it.
your country of Africa.
Oh no,
They were
no,
the
they
same
invaded us.
people that put
We get treated
your
like shit
people
just be. You got treated
enslaved.
like shit. You got treated like shit because of a different culture. Them folks didn't like your
You know,
culture.
maybe you should go
They
to
didn't. It wasn't about.
Barbados
The
and to the
point being
West
is,
Indies
It
and
wasn't
meet
about your skin.
the Africans there that basically
It
have
was not.
Irish last names because we rose
It,
up against the British colonists together.
listen. The point is, you were not oppressed because of your skin color. That's the point we're trying
I
to
was
make here.
oppressed because I was
We
Irish. My people were
because
oppressed because we
you were
were
of a
Irish.
different culture of a
And it
certain
Oppressed
went
skin.
on till
is not racism.
Listen,
1998
hold
in
on.
the north of
Are you?
Ireland.
Oh, I'm
Our
sorry.
country
Are
is
you,
still not whole.
young lady? Are you still trying not to hear what we're saying?
She don't want to hear
You
that.
Are
just
you still?
don't want to
The
hear the
point.
truth
Hold
and you
on.
don't like it.
The point is, you were not oppressed because of your skin color. Am I right?
I was oppressed because I was Irish. My people were
Okay.
oppressed because we were Irish.
Hold on. The question is,
Is
were you
that not a
oppressed because of your?
culture?
Were you oppressed
It's
because
a
of your
yes or
skin
no
color?
question.
Were you oppressed because of your skin color, ma'am? That's all I'm asking. Yes or no?
Uh,
That's the. Were you oppressed
what
because
do
of your
you
skin
think?
color?
No,
The answer is no, lady.
That's a yes or no question.
I just answered you.
I couldn't hear you because somebody was talking to. Say again, please. I'm sorry.
I said no.
Okay, then the thing is, we are talking about an oppression because of skin color. You are talking about an oppression because of differences of culture or land or wherever you were. So the thing is, we're
The
talking
same
at
thing happened to
oranges.
you that happened to us.
Hold on. It happened to us because of our skin color. It happened to you
Oh
No, it
my,
because of.
yeah,
really
okay.
didn't.
You were enslaved by the British. We were enslaved by the British.
Oh my God. But why
Man,
were we
first of
enslaved?
all, y'all were indentured servants. So you have to understand what the
Oh my
worth
God,
of a
yeah,
job
sure.
is and
Hey,
what
I
like
can't
Okay,
even.
we were down to
generationally put
servants.
into a
I can't
woman's
get a
33,000
gift
hands to
right
of
now.
us
slave.
were
Your
My
children
sold.
were
gift in the account
born
is
into
blocked, but
slavery
damn,
if
I
you
wish I
To the
could
had
get
West
some
them
Indies.
while they were
Panther
being
claws right now. God
born
damn, Lord
I
have
mean, we're
mercy.
not indentured.
Just young lady, just drop yourself. Do us a favor. Say somebody some coins.
No,
Oh
let that
God.
cave coochie stay up here. So
From
at the end of the day, it's
1641 to
always interesting when someone like
1652,
this
over
comes in a situation
500,000
where she's
Irish
supposed
were
to
killed
describe
by the
and
British.
make
Another
her
All right, y'all
innocence,
both
300,000 were
but
talking
she
at the
sold
walks
same
into
around
time.
with this
Dublin.
slavery.
pale ass
One
skin
point,
and goes out of her way to center herself. Girl, please, you came here for what? Like you literally came in here and centered yourself as if you would deal with a level of oppression, knowing that your white ass skin gonna show up with privilege, and yet you want to talk about xenophobia. where people that look just like you oppress you. And I don't hear you fighting them. You came in here to fight with people that literally are still dealing with oppression to this day. They were born into slavery, and their children were born into slavery, and therefore it followed. And even in 2023, our children are still dealing with racism and discrimination. Are your children still dealing with racism and discrimination, ma'am? Or xenophobia? Y'all be hella loud and goofy.
Crickets, crickets, crickets.
Y'all for the Panther Paws. She got up out of here. Thank y'all. She ran away. Y'all scared her away. Thank you again. And yeah, we just gonna keep it rolling. Mad City, what's good?
What's up, man? Y'all can hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Keep dying. My bad. Go ahead. What's good, brother?
What's good, man? I was just, I know this might, yeah, this might, this might hurt a few, man, but I do think anybody can. I do think anybody can, man. I do.
Sound like
Wait,
you
wait,
sound like
wait,
you
wait,
you
wait,
think
wait, wait,
anybody
wait,
can
wait,
be
wait,
mine.
wait, 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 wait. Hold on. Mad City. Mad City. Now I know you know better. I know you know better with the Solon flag emojis in your name. I know you know better than this. How in the hell are you going to defend yourself now? What did you do?
No, because I just think about it from, I think about it from a historian standpoint. Like I just think about it from a history standpoint. That's it. That's like I
That
love
History
makes
to.
no
where? What
sense.
history?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Well, you
Yeah,
want
just
me to
start
give an
looking.
example? Like an example?
Man,
Yes.
I can't
Give the
tell if you
example.
playing or you kidding.
No,
I'm
he's
serious.
serious.
Like I'm
He's a
serious.
coochie cook cave hunter.
He better not
I'm not.
be.
I'm not,
I
man.
met
I'm
him
not.
in the Pan African Live. You better not be. You better fix
I
this.
I'm definitely I'm definitely Pan Africanism, bro. Like that's definitely like my go-to for sure.
Uh huh.
But as far as like that view, like as far as like the definition of it, I think a lot of people come up with, like different definitions of it. Like the one guy said, he said impression of race. Well, I mean, if you go back uh a couple years ago, not even a couple years ago, thousands of years ago, I can make that same case for, what I'm saying, for, what I'm saying, islanders of Australia when they was getting displaced in Australia, or I can go to Hawaii.
Wait, Australians? What do you mean? You talking about white Australians?
No, the indigenous.
Well,
It's in
yeah.
the
Well, I mean,
But that we said minorities. So where are you
yeah,
confused?
oh oh okay, y'all
Yeah.
also
Oh, you sounding crazy. You got all these cave dwellers want to line up with you and be like, yeah, he's on our
yeah.
side.
They about to start
He's
sending you
with us.
gifts.
no no I was just speaking for like like some of those islands and stuff like that. That's what I was talking about. But with that,
Oh yeah, well yeah, other well non white tea folks, especially when it comes to Australians, it's sometimes I don't know. I got to do more on their history. I do hear some people refer to them as black. I hear them refer to themselves as black as well. I do know that Australia was also, an African creation originally. So a lot of there are Africans that went to that continent, and that's why they have phenotypically they look like us. So Africans existed all across the world. So when it comes to them, I don't know. I can also give them a pass. Say they one of us, but I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. That's not what Dr. Chancellor Williams says. So that's why I'm saying maybe. Like some people yes, some people no.
Yeah,
But yeah.
they basically like aboriginals. Like they like their own identity. It's basically like the same people like in America. But
Yeah,
that
but they were in the racial classification, they were considered black, and we know that they're some of the earliest people to leave Africa. So I don't know. It's a thing. We can trace them back to Africa is the thing. We can actually trace their history back to the continent. So doesn't matter how long you leave Africa or you're no longer African, like when does it, it's like a thing. I mean, I don't know. It's a thing.
yeah, I agree with that. It's a lot of islands that can trace a lot of indigenous people
You
on
feel
islands
me? Yeah.
that they self back to. I agree with
Right.
that. Yeah, but that
They
that's like that was
that's really original. They have a lot of pygmy in them. According to the research I've done with the DNA, migrations and stuff like that, there's still a lot of Africans, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Because I mean, we have the Eve gene, so we can go anywhere and make more of us. But I don't know about Europeans. They can only do that with themselves for so long before everybody's teeth start coming out crooked. So that's the thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, facts. Yeah, but that was all I wanted to say. Yeah, thanks for
All
having me
right.
on the speaker, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for
So
coming
just go
up,
on and
brother.
admit before you leave, you was a little drunk and confused, but okay.
She was ready to get on that ass. you
No,
know,
no, I
Sister
wasn't
D
defending
don't
them.
play.
No, I wasn't defending them. No, I was
All
just
right.
y'all. You know what I was trying to get to. Y'all,
Listen, I know I met you in the Pan African Live, so I'm like, I know he know better. I just wanted to hear what you had to say. Appreciate you
yeah,
coming up.
no problem, man.
All right,
Y'all,
one
y'all
love.
have a good day.
All right. D, did you want to say anything? Or are you hanging out?
Okay, so I finally got my account back. So I've been
Okay.
banned. I couldn't even get on the stage every time you had a room and then you took a hiatus. I was like, what's going on? So yeah,
Damn.
but I'm back. So yeah, I was out there, getting on the dwellers. But
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna drop. But I'll be back. I'm finishing up work. But that little seed demon, she had me aggravated a little bit. So and I
Yeah.
see my good sis at the bottom trying to get her.
She
But
was trying.
so I'll be back.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming up as always, D. Shout out to the sisters that be holding out my live, man. The sisters be cleansing the live, man. Sisters just be sprinkling they black girl magic all over my live because I be having brothers come up here sometimes wilding what they be saying. Sometimes, the brothers that came up today, they did all right. They did all right. But sometimes the brothers come up here and, they, trying to, if it ain't snowing, I ain't going type behavior. I'll be like, man, y'all need to stop. And, other things. But the sisters, pretty much 9 times out of 10, they going to come and set everything straight for us. Get us back to reality. Prince Coffee, did you want to say anything else?
Not really. I wanted to touch on these questions. I want to
All right,
add
go ahead.
senses to them. Can anyone experience racism? Nah. I just think only us black people can experience that. We don't think our race is spirit to anybody else. That's that. Uh, should we be considered minority? No, because we are majority all over the world. That don't make no sense. But yeah, that's the term they use
Oh no,
out.
the question is, should frosted females be considered a minority?
Oh, yeah, I see that now. Okay, yeah. Nah.
Because in America, at least, they're considered a minority when they make up most of America. Like they're the biggest population intersectionally, like between race and gender. They're the biggest population in America, but they're considered a minority.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Can black people and white people culture fully? No. Never. Is a modern day Christianity racist? Christianity always been racism towards us, from generations. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was an easy one for any Pan African, so I appreciate you. It's easy. You know what I'm saying?
I, but I
Yeah.
still gotta come answer because we gotta get the order in here.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Thanks for coming up.
Most
Miss
definitely.
Miss Moore, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hi, my age, I'm 35. I am black, and I know people have told me I sound non-black, but I am black. Well, I'm female, so
All
she,
right.
yeah.
All right. Go ahead and answer the questions for us.
Yeah, so no, I was really fired up when the Irish lady was on, because she was talking about white on white indeed, white on white crime. And, like for me, that's gaslighting because in the Netherlands, white people and Dutch people and German people hate each other for the same type of reason that she's talking about, because the German people oppress everyone, including the Dutch people, right? So this is something that happens all over, including in Africa. So, it makes absolutely no sense. And they like to compare our oppression with their oppression, and it's nowhere near, and
Yeah.
again, like you said, it's one race against the other race, and even worse, like Dee said, it's still going on today. So it hasn't ended. It's still very much a part of our community.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really fired up, and I kind of wanted to get her on the line.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that breakdown. Um, did you want to answer the questions?
No, not really. You know what? When it comes to white and black cultures, well, I have sisters, and they're both married to whites.
What happened to
I know.
them? What
Okay,
happened?
well, I said they are, okay?
Oh my! How do you go 2 for 2? That's crazy. All right. Well, who are you married to?
Well, I'm not. You know what? And that's the thing, because as much as I grew up in this mentality, not by myself, right? Not from my own, but more from parents, to do that, I did it. But I reached a place years ago where I just don't feel comfortable with it. And I would
Well, shout
love
out to you.
to.
You still giving us hope.
Yeah, I would love to, but you know what? The reality of the fact is that I know that it's sad, but it's not welcomed. You know what I mean?
What's not
So
welcomed?
yeah, it's not welcome me dating brother. So yeah, in my
Oh wait, so
family.
you think like
So
your sisters?
sorry?
You saying you
No,
you you think
I don't think my
like them?
parents think
Like you're saying it's
the
not
parents
welcomed?
think.
Oh, your
So
parents don't want you
that's
dating a
why I'm
brother?
single. I'm single because I don't I don't really, yeah, I'm not comfortable with it anymore. I used to date white men, but I'm not comfortable with it anymore. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
Well,
Mhm. Because I
yeah,
can
find
see
you a
when you
brother.
go back
Did
to
you
the
hear what
kind of
happened in
black and
Texas
white.
last week?
What? Sorry?
Uh, what happened in Texas last week? Did you?
Oh.
There's yeah. I mean, be careful with them. You know those Mayflower men. They've known for doing some things. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know. I was married to one, and he actually called the police on me in our own home. Yeah.
Something a brother
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
never do. Something a brother would never do.
I know. Do you
I done been
understand what
in
I'm
all kind of
saying?
scary situations with a sister. Never one
Yeah, but
time.
that's where I'm talking about, can black and white, coexist, and I have experienced, and for me it's like it's difficult to want to believe that, you know? It's
Yeah.
nice, it's a nice idea, but realistically, I don't think so.
Well, that's wild,
And
man. Yeah.
Angela, us, it's not a choice being one of us when you are Black, okay? So
Mm.
whether you want to say I am, because every day I walk out on the street, I know I am. Okay, Han? So just keep that suggestion to yourself. But that was it. I love your channel and have a good evening, okay?
Okay. Yep. Have a good evening. Everybody, I want y'all to look up Janine Chapman. With a J. It's like, Billie Jean. It's spelled like Jean and then EAN again. Janine Chapman. CHAPMAN. Janine Chapman. Look her up. She was in Dallas, Texas, and she was found unalived. She was a sister married to a Mayflower man, and they caught him in Austin. You know, he's going to have a trial and all that. That had smoke for black men during the whole brick incident. Not saying it wasn't warranted, but we're going to talk about protecting black women. This is something else we should be looking at because black women need to be protected, especially from those with privilege in the courtroom. Let's see what's going to happen with that. Barry Young, what's going on, brother?
Greetings, brother legend. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. How are you?
Excellent. Brother, shout out to since that was up there before D. Yeah, she also shout out to all,
Shout out to
you
D.
know what I mean? Yeah. Cause that redhead demon was on here, and I wanted at her myself, you know, cause she that whole thing with that these Irish people, they hate blacks and they just don't want to admit it. You know what I mean? They sure they got their little oppression thing that was going on over in Ireland. But the IRA, when they clapped back so hard they was unaliving. They didn't care if you was in a hospital, a elementary school, a police station. They was bombing everything. That's how they got a
Mm-hmm.
seat at the table. They came over here, and of course they assimilated to YT America. And but when that whole civil that equal rights thing came about in 1800s, they snapped out. They was like, hell no, ain't no black people gonna be equal to us, you know. And there was a whole war, you
Right.
know, going on with that, you know. So they can miss me with the BS. You
Yeah,
know, they
I
just
heard
don't want
that.
to admit that they're racist. But when you look around here, they run unions, the trade unions, police unions, firefighters unions, and they don't want us in there at all. As a matter of fact, they had to put up a 10% quota, which they don't even do that, and nobody's taking accountability for it. You know, right here in Philadelphia, they built the convention center, and it was supposed to be one of the prerequisites was that they hired 10% blacks, minorities, what have you.
Yeah,
And they violated the terms of the contract. And what did the city turn around and do? Gave them the contract to build the extension.
crazy.
So, you know, this whole thing about them, you know, they just don't want to admit how racist they are, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
they want to try to act like they suffered like we did, but they still kept their culture, their language, and everything else. As a matter of fact, I was reading, I don't know if it was on the gram or on TikTok, but it was something about this Irish guy owned a bar in Africa, and he wouldn't, and black people weren't allowed it to come in that bar unless they was accompanied by a YT person
Wow.
in the continent of Africa. Can you
Wow.
believe that?
That's crazy.
Ain't it
That's
crazy?
crazy.
Yeah. Like try that in Ireland. You
Yeah.
come up missing, you
Wow.
know. One of us tried that in Ireland, we come up missing. But yeah, as far as these questions, can anyone experience racism? Who else in this on the planet was their whole culture, identity, and heritage was taken from them.
Mm-hmm.
That answers that question. And
Mm-hmm.
should white women be considered a minority? Hell no to the no. But they are, because that was America's way of denying black men and women equal rights in this country. So they
Right.
made them a minority so that they could get the minority benefits and prevent us from, you know, getting our just due after the civil rights, before the civil rights movement, you know, came about.
Mm-hmm.
But can black and white cultures fully exist? Listen, if we knew our value and our DNA, would we want to water it down with something other than?
Be careful.
I'm gonna leave that right there. But I mean, if you get just what I'm saying, you know, you don't take pure honey and pour sugar in it. You know, and is
Yeah.
modern Christianity racist? Is there such a thing as modern Christianity? Christianity is Christianity. It's been racist from the door of no return up until today. It ain't
Mm-hmm.
changed a bit. They got
Yeah.
more gold stolen from Africa than probably anywhere on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
with solid gold chairs and tables and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they probably made more money off of slavery than anybody.
Right. Yep. Well, they're the
So
they yeah.
I like
They're
to
the
rob
ones
the
that.
Vatican. I like to go in there, kicking the door, waving the full floor, and see what they done stole, you know, and take it back.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about that.
All right. Well, thank you for that analysis, brother. In the Biggie lyrics.
Much love, brother. Much love.
All right. One love. Um, 6 foot two peaches. What's going on, sister?
Hey there, sir. It's so good to see you again. It's been a minute.
Absolutely. It's good to see you as well.
Yeah, I
Um,
had missed you.
yeah, yeah. I went away for a little bit. I'm back. I got some questions up here. Hopefully, making people think as always. Everybody down there, don't forget to tap like on the screen for us, please. If you got more melanin than a little bit, tap like. We love y'all. Sister Peaches, go ahead and answer the questions for us.
Okay, well, first of all, I would like to say you make people think. The questions bring out people who are incapable of thought, and the truth shows the people who want to avoid thought and avoid truth, and they come up in your comments like real quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah.
But so first of all, can anyone experience racism? Absolutely not. Um, the only people of the global majority, who are us, are the only people who can suffer from racism because we don't have the systems. Racism as a social construct requires systems. Systems were
Mm,
put in place by YT people, and because they knew that they were subpar. And so, in order to create racism, which is again a social construct that was based on both Christianity and finance, so in order to exacerbate that, they put systems in place. So we can only experience racism. Now, I am a healthy purveyor of prejudice because I have great depths of prejudice discussed. So there is a difference. So I can completely have in my deep down in my from a healthy place, I have prejudice and complete distrust.
Listen,
That is, yes, sir.
I hear you, but prejudice is based off an assumption not backed by reason or experience.
That's why I said
So,
I feel. Right. That's why I
right,
said I
yeah,
feel. Right,
okay.
right, right. So you know me with the words worth different. So I
uh,
I I feel it and experience it and am perfectly fine with that and feel no reason to defend myself to those people. so
hmm
having said that, I love feeling it even though I know like what you were saying, even though I know the basis of it and I know that I love feeling it because it also keeps me with a healthy dose of Heisman Trophy, keep them at arm's length type. So,
Mm.
and then should WWs be considered a minority? Absolutely not again. They are the reason that they try and consider them a minority. I don't even think it's just the loose definition that we gave. It is literally that they are systemically and systematically the most fucking coddled thing on the planet. There are endangered species that do not get as much attention and coverage as WWs. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally there are turtles that there are only a handful of them left on the planet and they still don't get as much coverage and as much kind of up the middle coverage as WWs. So
Mm.
no, they are very much not a minority. They have actually outnumbered YT men for quite some time.
Mm.
And they are, we don't ever hear about the fact that they have the largest numbers on welfare because, of course, we're considered welfare queens. They have the largest numbers of abortions, and that is why there are anti-abortion laws and things going in place now because
Mm-hmm.
they knew that population control was so hell no, they can't be considered minority in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Can us and YT cultures fully coexist? We can. So I just was talking to somebody earlier about this. I said, there's this YT man who was saying something to me in a business setting, and he's a client. And I had to stop him and I had to explain to him what you aren't going to, you are my client. So you are not my man. You have no influence. You pay me to provide, for my staff to provide services to you. Now, your tone and how you operate, I can cut the services off because I have other clients. You don't have other people giving you these services. Now, having said that, the reason that um, we can't coexist is because number one, we have to tolerate them.
That's it.
There's no
Yeah.
there's no reason for us to even like we literally are just barely like well, okay, I'm not going to say we because I always tell people speak for I. So I can just barely tolerate them motherfuckers. Like I can't see myself coexisting with someone who I fundamentally cannot even meet you in agreement on basic shit like you want to erase history because
Mm.
you aren't man or woman enough to embrace your part in it
Right.
or
Wow.
or you want to change systems and constantly move the goalpost because we are overcomers and because our DNA is so strong and because we are so legitimately generationally gifted, you keep moving the goalpost because you can't fucking keep up. So no, how can we coexist with that? What we have to
Mm-hmm.
do is we have to tolerate that bullshit and galvanize among ourselves and work around them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is modern Christianity racist. What the king said before me, I thought was beautiful in that modern Christianity, antiquated Christianity, original Christianity, reformed Christianity, any form of Christianity is based on an entirety of racism and classism.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way around it. And as a person who was, part of Christianity for to the point of being ordained for the longest, um,
Mm-hmm.
it I had to come to grips with myself and be like, damn, I can't. I believe in the ancestors. I believe in energy. I believe in us being tied to one another and interdependent and intradependent. I believe in us, the connectedness of us. I do not believe that any deity or any power that dealt with it, any higher power or energy level that dealt in anything holy and pure would do things the way that Christianity espouses. It's
Mm.
it's just it's absolutely an oxymoron. It is oxymoronic, more oxymoronic than jumbo shrimp. Like it makes no fucking sense. Like how can you espouse holiness and be as hate filled and hateful and divisive? It
Yeah.
makes no sense. So that's my take on everything. And I adore you and your wife. Just sending all my love, and I'm so glad to see you back. It warms my heart.
Thank you, sister.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that breakdown. Shout out to you. The reason I put modern Christianity there is because I feel like somebody at some point was going to come up here and say how Christianity was first, created in Ethiopia, and
Mm-hmm.
they were going to take it all the way back. So I try to make the question so that no one can wiggle out of what I'm trying to what I'm
I
trying to say.
understand.
But you're
No,
right.
I understand. That's excellent.
Immediately, yeah, as soon as it left the continent, it was immediately used to colonize and misused, because if if it was no Christianity, there'd be no Europe, there'd be no white tea race, there'd be no none of this. White Jesus. It was used mostly for evil. Just at the
Absolutely.
very inception, I just felt like somebody was going to come up and try to check me on that. So that's
No,
why I put it like that.
I love that. May I pose something to you? It's something I've wanted to ask you for a while. Do you think, like, in terms of Africans, we have, still to this day, we have always relied upon griots? I wonder, and it's something that I don't know if I might study it to try and get a little bit better grasp, but I wonder if the reason of, like, writing of the King James, the King Charles and the King James um, translations, because I version is giving them a compliment, and in the Gutenberg press, like, putting out I believe that the reason that the stories and the things that we culturally told from person to person, it's important to do person to person. Like, when you tell me what happened to you, that's totally different than me telling um, someone else. Me telling Dee from earlier, me telling her, like, oh, this is what happened to Brother Legend. Completely different. So if you tell me and I write down the version of what you said to me, I'm able to go to D and go, no, no, look, it's written down. Like, this is what happened to Brother Legend. And then when she comes back to you, you're like, hold up, that's not. And she's like, oh, I saw it in writing. I saw it. You know what I mean? So I feel like over time, the reason that yes, Ms. D, the reason that I think imperialists and colonizers wrote, quote unquote, the word, and it became so impressed, and you think about it, like hotels, and just how, and as a person who, I always tell people, understand that marketing is propaganda. The reason that it was propagandized and written down as opposed to the original being told is so that, to them, that gained or lent to some legitimacy of the illegitimacy of it. So just something I wanted to, I've been meaning to ask you that, like, something that we could talk about or go into,
Well, what was
because
the question? Because I understand everything you're saying. That sounded like facts.
is that, do you believe that part of the reason the quote unquote word was written and then put,
Oh.
through, like with the Gutenberg press, like, was put out and then put out in mass publication, is because that to them lent legitimacy, because the word was written out, because people treat the Bible, I mean, we swear on the Bible in court. People treat the Bible like, how people get offended when you burn a flag. People treat
Right.
the Bible like it is the frigging whole, like it is the holy
Yeah.
flesh, or the word of the flesh of
Yeah.
God.
Right.
And that is all propaganda.
Right. Well, I would say for sure King James
Okay.
Version is that. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Like, without a doubt. King James Version, definitely that. And um I would also challenge us to check out the Aramaic uh,
Yes.
version of the Bible, because Jesus spoke in Aramaic. Um, he doesn't say "Our Father who art in heaven." He says, "What he said, O birther of the cosmos."
Oh,
Like, he
birther
says,
of the cosmos and energy giver.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
So
yes,
that sounds a lot more enlightened. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
So and and
absolutely.
and there's so many different ways to translate it because what do they call those idiosyncrasies? Um, I think that's the word, right?
No,
Idiosyncrasy.
colloquialisms. Colloquialisms.
Right, yeah, right. Like how it
Yep.
means something a certain way. But yeah, God is I love how even Jesus knew God uh had no gender, like the way that he spoke
Right.
about. And then you can also, dive a little deeper too into, ancient Kemet and, the origins of monotheistic religion and Sheikh Anta about how Moses stole the 42 laws of Ma'at and changed them to the 10 commandments. So that, I mean, he wrote those down. But so it's a whole thing, I would say that's a good breakdown of what you said. I'll look more into it. I don't want to speak
Okay.
too heavily on something that I can't actually go back into, but definitely when I read the Aramaic version, me and my wife sat down
Hmm.
and we had because we left the church too, and we had to sit down and like,
Yep.
were we worshiping the wrong? Like,
Right.
did we leave the wrong thing? Because he talking
Makes you
about
question.
God like
That-
she's almost a woman, like not a
Right.
woman, but like birther of the cosmos. Oh
Right.
yeah, hallelujah to that. Birther, yeah, I can get down with that. My ancestors, we had the goddess Mu. We had Isis. We had the
Yes.
birther of all things, benevolent creator. The closest thing you get to meeting God on earth is a black woman. So, civilization comes from y'all. So, you know, I can understand that a little bit more than some white T Jesus. And you're telling me his father's not white, but then why is he white? If he's white, then his father white.
I
Like,
was just about to get into
Absolutely.
that. Here's the thing, though. I was just
Can
about to
I?
get in that when you said that. Here's the thing. I got to ask Christians: is it so wrong to believe in a damn Messiah that is of color? Because there's no way that Jesus is in the desert for
I
30
know.
fucking years, 30 years, and he doesn't change color. The only thing pigment is a tan. That's all it is. It is a pigment of how well you can take the sun. That's all it
yeah.
is. So is it hard to believe if let's say this,
Wait,
if
hold on,
Jesus
Blackwing.
came
We got somebody before you, man. Before you start going, I know you.
Yeah, can I
We,
just and just
yeah.
I if I may, sir, just address what I just saw. Just a quick shot of fuckery that I wanted to speak to. Sassy, all due respect. First and foremost, it's race. Again, we aren't even going to get into that. But the word equal, you and I aren't equal. There is no way that we could ever be equal. I believe in equitable treatment, like equitable pay, equitable standing, and things of that nature. But for instance, with Brother Legend, like he's not my equal. He is a black man. So the reverence that I have for him puts him way above and well beyond me. But I we may have equitable education or we may have equitable understanding of things, but there is no such thing as equality. So
Hmm.
that is an oppressor's bullshit ass that's that propaganda thing again about like,
Yep.
well, can't we all just get along or we should be equal? There's not even equality under the law,
Mm.
and the law and our BS laws state that. So the word equal is completely incorrect in your question, and then we don't believe that any race must be a minority. It is YT people that have purported that a certain race, and race again in air quotes, is a minority. But the only race that there is the human race. So
Hmm.
race is a social construct.
That's
So
right.
if among humanity, we should be equitable. But when you ask questions like that, you let me see we are far from
Yeah.
equitable. But
All right.
so
I
I just wanted to,
mean,
but I'm gonna drop out. But love you, like I said, and give my love to your wife.
all right. As always, much love to you as well, sister. And
Thank you.
you know, yeah, we could talk about humanity as race, but we gotta remember where all humanity flows from. So, if we got back to our roots as humans, we would understand that we should have some reverence for Africans, and specifically those that carry an African womb. Um, I think it's Ko. You've been up here for a while, man. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Okay, so I'm Kale. I'm 37. Um, my race is mixed, so I'm part YT and Asian, basically.
So, do
So,
you
and I want
identify as Asian or white?
neither. I don't fit neatly into either group and never have.
If you don't
And
fit
so, like,
neatly into white, then you're not white. That's how they invented race. That's how it works. There's no such thing as partially white. Whiteness is defined by what it is not. It's exclusionary of all other colors. That's why they call you a person of color, because they're the people without color. So there is no such thing as a white person of color. So you're either white or you're not. So if you have a parent that's not white, um, unfortunately, you're not white. You're whatever the
no,
other parent
yeah,
is.
yeah, like, I don't know, like I understand it. I mean, I dig. I'm just saying, like from where I sat, like most of my life, like I never really fit anywhere for not just that reason, but other reasons. As far as
That's
like
personal,
having,
but race is
yeah,
not personal to just you. It's a system by which we all live. I don't get to choose. If I have a white parent, I know people that have white parents, same complexion as me, look just as black as I do, and they don't get to say that they don't fit and all this other stuff. They black. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works. Look at Thomas Jefferson. Not Thomas Jefferson. What's his name? Frederick Douglass. Look at Frederick
oh
Douglass. He was mixed,
yeah,
and he was about as black as it gets. So it don't.
yeah.
When it comes to race, you, my friend, have the Asian phenotype, and I would say if your parent is Asian, you got you're just Asian. Whether they accept you or not, it's not really has nothing to do with who you are. To be honest.
But I never really cared about acceptance after a certain point. I had to like kind of understand this shit for myself, if that makes any sense. Like I had to be able to have like a speaking mind, right? And anyway, so my pronouns are also he and him and whatever, masculine pronouns. And okay, so the first question is, can anyone experience racism? No. Um, not because I think
Wait,
somebody.
wait, hold on real quick. Hold on real quick. Someone down there who said, why should they have to denounce one of their races? Please don't come on my live acting like I invented the construct of race. Like when I recite what has been written in books and how people are treated in society, I'm not telling him he can't be white and black. I'm telling him what white people that created race said. Like, this is how it works. There's no such thing as mixed white people. Like, that's just, please. All right,
Don't
go
they
ahead,
know
man.
about the one
I'm gonna
drop
let,
rule?
well, hold on. We gotta let him talk. Go ahead, Kale.
Yeah, no problem. Like, yeah, and I'm gonna try to not bunny trail so much because like that's a habit. Anyway, so anyone experience racism? Absolutely not, because of like what a previous guest had said. I don't remember the names very well at all, but like said that the systems were created by YT people, by Mayflowers, right? Like actually they created the system, so there is absolutely no way they would ever subject themselves to a system, that would could potentially uh, oppress them. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, and and so should WW be considered a minority? I struggle with this. Like I've struggled with this so much. I admit, because like as far as being like socially like what like on one hand you hear about like what women in general tend to go through, and these are things that I myself as a male like could never experience. Like I could never, I won't understand what it's like to walk alone at nighttime. However, somebody else did mention that because like WW, they really are kind of like coddled and People like I look at the news, and the only people that they're really worried about, are missing, YT daughters, missing YT women, missing, and the same consideration. Like, I don't remember 37 years alive. I don't remember, black women or Asian women or like any other type of women getting the same consideration. Not at that level. God, no. So it's there you go. There it is. A missing WW syndrome. And so, like, bottom line is that, like, I suppose, like, to the extent that that they relate to uh YT men, I suppose you could definitely make that argument. But as it stands, as far when we consider constructs such as race and stuff, absolutely freaking not. Okay, like and then so can black and YT cultures fully coexist? Well, I mean, like, you would have to totally, like, forget everything that freaking happened on on both sides, which is not going to ever happen, because how the hell are you going to do that, like, when we have to teach about these things so that they never happen again? It's more important looking to the future, right? Forget, like, dicking with the past. And so, like, I don't believe there could be, like, a full, like, coexistence. There would have to be a lot of work as far as equity, right? Like, not, and again, being careful not to say equality, but equitable law, equitable um just let me actually, okay, so who is that? Marge? Why do you need to forget the past to coexist? I'm just speaking from, like, a logical perspective. Like, clear, like, you would have to, like, totally, or at least dismiss, ignore, like, the relationship between YT and black people, particularly, like, 400 years ago, right? And so, like, and that's not logical. That can't happen. So therefore, as far as, like, fully coexisting, there's going to be a lot of work, and I have absolutely no idea, like, at when or at what point you could consider everything, all things, equitable. So, like, I guess it's a complicated answer, but I hope you're at least it makes some sense.
Okay. And what about Christianity? Is it racist?
Modern Christianity, oh, absolutely. Yeah, because, like, I think back to, like, the 80s, when there was, like, this revival of, like, Christianity, and then the rise of televangelists and things like that, and Ronald Reagan and the entire Republican Party, right? It absolutely is because there, like, the 80s is also a time when a lot of black neighborhoods and, like, just, like, races other than YT had been disproportionately targeted by the police, right? And, like, and here they were talking about, like, the same but on the flip side, talking about um uh gosh, what am I saying? um how they're God-fearing people, and how, like, but yeah, so you have, like, these churchgoers who are also, who look at, just, the minority communities, going, like, well, it's God's will. God, if you can do that, like, you're nothing but a racist, honestly. And it's been perpetuated since the 80s. So you're thinking, like, like, 40 odd years of, like, just these beliefs, like, okay, they're, like, and even defendants, if you look at, like, defendants, like YT cops, for instance, they might talk about their relationship with God and Jesus Christ, right? I mean, come on, like, if you're going to invoke the name of the Lord, if you're going to use the Bible, and then, like, totally defend yourself on that basis, like, basically defending your YT fragility. Oh my God, like, modern Christianity has not addressed that. Yeah, absolutely racist, 100%.
Okay. Well, not mad at you there. Uh, Blackwing, did you want to say something? You
Thing I
busy,
basically
bro?
want to know about Christianity is it so hard to believe that basically your savior was not only married to a prostitute, not only have siblings, but also is a man of color. I want to put this in perspective. He has siblings. There's no way in hell that Mother Mary and Father Joseph did not get down. They were married. So after Jesus, you really think they just stopped having sex? There's some people that's basically closely related to Jesus Christ, per point blank. Second thing, Mary Magdalene, whether you like it or not, was an apostle. She followed Jesus with his 12 partners around Bethlehem, spreading the word. There wasn't that many choices for women. Either you were somebody's wife, somebody's maid, or somebody's. There wasn't that many choices back in BC during Jesus Christ's era. Now, here's the thing though. This is the problem I'm having. How you in the desert for 30 fucking years and you don't change color? Like, I really want to know this. Like, I'm saying this for the Greeks. I'm saying this for basically the so-called Egyptians. I'm saying this for basically Jesus Christ himself. Bethlehem, Israel, is a desert country. Bethlehem is a desert country. Ethiopia is a desert country. Egypt is a desert. It's one of the main deserts in the world. So how in the hell you in the desert for almost all of your life and you do not change color? Scientifically, that's not possible.
You're wrong, my friend. You are wrong. So you think everyone who
Hey,
lives in
hold
the
on.
desert for 40 years changes color.
Hey,
It's not
hold
how
on.
evolution works, my friend.
Hold on, man. We gotta let everybody talk now. You know, it's a thing. I know you people are used to just coming up and spewing out whatever you want, whenever you want. Please be mindful of your privilege in this space. Let him talk, and then we'll come to you. I want to hear everything you gotta say. Just let him talk first. Blackwing, are you still here with us? Look, you done scared him off now.
He's a very sensitive young man. I think the problem here is simple.
He's
All
a
right.
troll. I've seen him in plenty of other lives, trolling people's lives.
I don't know what the fuck happened.
You
I
have
just got
never
kicked out and kicked
seen
back
me.
in.
I've
What
been
the
on
hell?
TikTok for 2 weeks now. That's it. You haven't seen me anywhere, my dear. And just because I'm
I have seen you.
just
I
No,
have
no,
seen you.
no.
You are a troll.
Well, we're gonna let him dig his grave.
I'm just going like this. It's just how you basically in a desert for almost all your life in a hot desert and don't change color.
okay. So you're asking a question. I want to answer
And
it.
All
here's
right,
another thing. Here's another thing.
we
This is
can't
too to make up.
answer the
This is too
question
to
without
make
letting
up.
him finish.
He asked a question, and
No,
I want to
he's
answer it as a scientist. For
a
I
rhetorical
graduated.
question. He's not asking you, and you gotta introduce yourself before you start talking.
I'm trying. I've been here 20 minutes waiting for my opportunity.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
your opportunity to be a damn bigot. That's what your opportunity is.
The
Let's call it
racism.
let's call the
Because
bullshit
I'm
out.
white. This is
okay.
because I'm white, isn't it? Yes.
We
Oh
don't
no,
know
it's
what
not because
race
you're
you
white,
are.
it's because you're an asshole. This just basically is
That's
what it is.
what I figured. I knew this was going to happen. As soon as I
Did
got
I
here.
say did I say white in the situation? Did I say white tea? Did I say
No,
white tea?
no.
Did I
I
say
knew it.
the
This is
Caucasus Mountain? No, I
If,
said
if you
basically this,
feel
right?
if you feel
You was
This
about
is
to
uncomfortable,
defend
why are you
exactly
basically
what
being
I
you
evil
was
thought.
in a
about to
black
defend
space?
I'm not
Caucasian.
surprised.
No, I'm literally
I'm
saying
not
this. You was about to defend
surprised at all.
Caucasian Jesus that looked like Jeffrey
Yep.
Dahmer
Just what
holding
I
Trump.
thought. Oh, now the name
Because
calling.
basically this, right? You
Yes.
want to say that
Now
Jesus was a white
the
tea
name
man.
calling.
Here's
And
one
you
thing
look
though.
like
White
Willis.
tea
He's
didn't
Different
asking
exist back
stuff.
in
John,
the
What's
sir.
the
Jesus
difference? What you
did
talking
not
about,
exist
Willis? How
in
would you
BC.
like it if I said that? We don't need to name call, my friend. Let's just, if you ask a
Did
question, you
I
should expect an
say? Did
answer.
I call you any names? Did, hey,
Yes.
call up. Did I
You
say?
just
Did I
called
say
me
any?
just
Call
about,
him any
you
names?
just
I
called
don't
me
mind
just
Did I
calling
call
about
him
you?
it,
in
Did,
my friend.
names.
You
He's
just called
honestly a
me the,
cracker.
you just,
Whoa,
That's
whoa,
hold
what
on.
he
whoa,
said.
whoa, whoa,
he
whoa,
said.
whoa,
He
whoa,
said
whoa,
that.
whoa.
She said that.
Nah,
There
come
we
on,
Said,
bro.
go.
Come on now. Come on now.
Yes, the cream always rises to the top,
Please.
doesn't it?
Oh my God.
Yes,
Please
I
don't do
knew
not
that
come up
was
there
happening.
here calling them that word.
Incredible.
I want to ask.
Oh, I
I
knew
want to
it.
ask.
I knew it
Since
when I
I'm
came
gonna let you
here.
talk.
Saying it left
How
and
I
does
right.
knew
basically
what
here's
was
the thing
Outside
going
of
to
as a
happen.
white
I knew
as
it.
a white male, you
I
probably believe in Christianity, right?
I
You probably believe in Christianity, right,
right.
sir? Or sir,
All right.
whatever.
Thank you for
Okay.
the panther
He
pause.
he
I'm
wasn't
not
going to answer
mad
the
at you
question
for
anyway. He
coming
was
up
about to go
here.
babbling on and on. I'm
I
going
can't
like
have
this.
you stay up here
Here,
after you say that word because they get you up out of here for saying that word. You know what I'm saying? They call yes. Please F1. Everybody F1 in the comments. F1 in the comments, please. Because
I
they
actually wanted to talk
TikTok
to the
don't
bigot. I really want to did. I really
don't
want
mess
to
with
because I
that
like.
word, man.
You know, I like talking to bigots. Bigots basically make my day. They got my page banned any freaking way. So I'm going like this. Here's the big thing that I want to understand. Is it so hard to believe that your savior, your Messiah, was a man of color? Is it too hard to believe that shit? Is it too hard to believe? No, this is way too stupid to make up. That your creator is a woman. Is it too hard to believe that Adam and Eve were people of color? They ran in Ethiopia. I no, this is how I know this. Two black people can have a baby that is Caucasian, that is an albino. I have yet to meet two white people that have a nigga I know.
You need to stop. Don't say that word no more. But that is hilarious. I am dying inside.
I'm just saying. I am yet to. Here's the thing. I have yet to meet two white people that have a black child and have a black child. I have yet to meet two white people. If you are two white parents and your child coming out chocolate, guess what? You got to probably ask the mailman that just came over your house. If you come out with a chocolate baby, if you come out with a chocolate baby, there's something wrong with this thing. There's something wrong. Either your wife was basically black herself, which does happen. There are some white passing black people. There is. I met some white passing black people with black features, but they white. But I'm going like this. I have yet to meet two white people that have a black child I know
Okay.
biologically.
Yo, that's hilarious, man.
No,
All right, Black
here's
Wing.
the thing.
Let me.
First of all, here's the thing. This is too soon to make up. Do you know how I know this is basically true? You know how I know this is true? Why do white people try to act black?
You gonna take us off topic, Black Wing?
No, I'm literally saying this.
You didn't answer none of the
Like, why?
questions.
Here's the thing. Why
You're
he
gonna
T went?
derail
Okay,
the
I'm gonna
whole
be back on
show.
top. I'm gonna be back on topic. This reason I say this. Can anyone experience racism? Here's the problem I'm having with
Mm.
racism. They always forget the systematic part. They always forget the systematic part. Racism is just what it is, a system. Prejudging is a feeling. Racism, in fact, ism is an actual system that is basically fueled by prejudice and hate. That's what it is. The only people that can benefit from racism systematically is Christians, heterosexuals, rich, are owning land, have a penis between their legs, and a white guy. No, and white. Point blank. That's the only one that can benefit from racism. Only one. If you don't believe me, think about this. Think about this. Why are white men creating laws to this day?
We are going way off topic, man.
No, no. It actually is on topic. Since basically YET men can experience racism, who makes the laws, practices, and policies, and what organizations of color keeping the white male that's Christian, heterosexual, and owning land down? There's none. If there
Hmm.
is, please enlighten me, because I really want to know.
Hmm.
Second thing, should white women be considered as minorities? The women part, yes. The white part, no. Sorry. Women are minorities. They're the largest minority in the country. But guess what? Just because basically you were here's the thing, doesn't mean that you don't have privilege. Because if you are a Wahiti woman, you benefit from 4 out of 5. The only thing you don't have is a penis. That's it.
And
If you're Christian,
that's why they measure
heterosexual,
their
only
oppression. They think
if
they're
you're
oppressed
Christian,
because they don't have
heterosexual.
a penis. They think they're
If you're
oppressed
Christian,
because they don't have
heterosexual.
a penis.
Say it again.
They think they're oppressed because they don't have a penis. That's it. That's the only thing holding them back. They
That's the only thing
measure it
holding back.
because they can't do what their husbands can do because they raise their husbands to like dominate, so they can't dominate in that arena, and they kind of grow jealous of that and feel like
Yeah,
they're
and
oppressed.
can I just say this for Christianity? This is the only religion that is conducive to Wall Street. Let me repeat that again. Modern day Christianity is the reason that it's pushed so hard is modern day Christianity is conducive to Wall Street. Any other religion, including Islam, is not conducive to Wall Street.
Hmm.
People make money off of white Jesus. Let me repeat that again. People make money off of white Jesus. And
Yeah.
guess what? Most of those people that make money off of white Jesus literally are getting money tax free because it's considered as a donation. If Christianity was not a damn, if Christianity was not conducive to Wall Street, it would not exist in this country at all. They found the one religion that can make them money. We don't worship the church, we worship the ATM. We worship physically capitalism. Why? Here's the thing. You don't believe me? Look on the back of your bill. Look on the back of your bill. What does it say is on every single bill in this country? Every single last one. In God we trust. Which God are we talking about?
The one that colonized people. That's one
They
you.
wanted slaves. They wanted slaves were considered as a sin. Why? They never explained to us why. Have they explained to us why our African names, to this day, this thing ain't stopped yet. Look at the there is something called name discrimination. If your name is biblical, they will call you. If your name is not biblical or you're a pig, they will not call you. People have put this to the test. So yes, economically, socially, even as close as anthropologic, modern day Christianity is nothing more than an ATM.
All right,
If you
Blackface.
don't believe me,
You
there's
got him
two
in the
words I got to
corner.
say this. Joel Osteen, and I'm done.
All right, thank you. And appreciate that word. Rowan, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hi there. I'm 23. Pronouns he, him, and I'm mixed, so I'm half British and half Indian.
Okay. Oops. I think I should have somehow.
Dude, why did you start a show?
I don't know what this is.
Come on.
What? I never used this before. Y'all been watching my live all this time. You never see me use this. What is this?
The most annoying thing that's on this app, other than basically being banned.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, y'all gotta show me how to use that. I don't know how to use that. But go ahead, Rowan.
Yeah, so I guess a
Your
topic that I'd like to
age,
focus
race, and
on.
pronouns again.
Sorry?
Your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm 23, he, him, and I'm mixed race. I'm half British and half Indian.
That's two different nationalities. Why do y'all play up? Why do y'all come on my live and decide to play? Please. What race are you,
And
sir?
are
Are
basic,
you
or here's the thing, are you
indigenous?
mean
Are
Middle
you
Eastern?
Asian? Are you white? Are you black? What are you, man?
I'm mixed.
There ain't no such thing as mixed. There ain't no mixed box on the race box. There's no such thing as a mixed human being. There's only one race. That is the human race. Everything else is a social construct that was made up by Europeans. And in that social construct made up by Europeans, you are one of what is not white if you have a non-white parent. So, what is your non-white parent?
South Asian, Indian.
All right, so you're an Asian man.
Okay.
No, damn well, Schmittler wouldn't have considered you a white man. So why are you coming up here acting like you confused? Go ahead.
I just wasn't, yeah, I just wasn't sure what you meant in that regards. I guess the topic that I'd like to focus on is can anyone experience racism? Um, and I guess from what I've seen, growing up in the UK, is that we have a lot of immigrants from Eastern Europe, whether it's Poland or Romania, etc. And they are discriminated against as well. And then there's all sorts of other races as well that are discriminated.
What do you mean as well? What do you mean by as well?
I feel like everyone can experience racism. Yeah.
But you said as well. So as well to who? As well as like if I say I'm on live too, that means I'm on live.
I meant as well as obviously the example that I gave.
I'm confused. So you're saying Asian people can experience racism as well. So who else experiences racism with Asian people?
Everyone. I'd say everyone can experience racism.
Even white people?
Yeah, that's the example that I gave with the
Okay.
Eastern
So when do
European
white people
people.
experience racism?
So as I said, that we have a lot of Eastern European immigrants in the UK, and they experience a lot. They experience racism.
I said when do white people experience racism?
That's when white people have experienced racism. When the Eastern European immigrants that have come here have been discriminated against.
Europeans are what race?
They're white.
So like all right, so wait, hold on. So if I get into a fight with a black man, is that a hate crime?
No.
Okay, so if two white people get into a fight, is that a hate crime?
If two white people get into a fight, is it no,
All right, so
well,
wait.
I guess it does depend though. If it's
If I
based
put
on your
marshmallows,
nationality.
well, if I put marshmallows and whipped cream in the same bowl and stir it up, does it make banana pudding?
I think it is if it's based on your background and your nationality and your culture, then I think it could be
Okay,
considered as a
can I ask you
hate
a
crime.
question? Just real talk. What other culture? No, what other race actually made race?
White people.
And
So
so
I'm gonna ask
he's
this:
trying to
if
say that white people
so,
use race made by white people against white people, and that's racism.
now
Okay,
here's the thing
I
though.
see
This is
where you're
the
coming
thing to
from.
No, you
Here's the
sound
thing.
stupid as hell. Like I don't see where the hell you're coming from. That's the
Like
most
I
ignorant thing I've ever heard. We are all dumber by listening to you right now. Like,
like how here's the thing.
what
No,
the
I
hell
really
are
want
you
to ask this.
talking
I really
about?
want to ask this
I
question.
feel like my IQ level just dropped.
No, I really want to
Okay,
ask this
look.
question.
In
What
all
law? Here's
respects,
the thing,
I'm not here
sir.
to fight and
Roland,
argue
in the
about the
United Kingdom.
situation.
I'm not
In
fighting
the
and
United
arguing
Kingdom.
either. That was
Here's the thing.
literally. I can't imagine a
I'm
woman
pretty
speaking to
neutral on
yourself.
it.
Oh
I'm
my
just
god,
Roland,
it was
I
really
really want to
bad.
ask you. You said you grew up in the UK. You said you grew up in
yeah,
the UK, right?
yeah.
How many delegates in the I think in the prime ministry are people of color or women?
Well, our prime minister is actually South Asian.
Okay, so how many delegates in the United Kingdom? This including Ireland, because you do realize Ireland is a part of your kingdom. Y'all took them over or something like that. But I'm going like this: how many? Matter of fact, how many people of color are Lily delegates in London?
They're quite a few.
How many? What's the percentage,
I'd say like the main positions at the moment are held by people of color,
sir?
like the
I'm
mayor of
asking you
London,
percentage,
You
number
the
just
wise,
prime
number.
said
minister.
that white people are white and Eastern European people are also white. And then you're saying they're
I guess
discriminating
my
against each
Here's
other
nothing,
based on
no,
race, even
I
though
think
they're the
that's
same
more.
race.
brother. I
Sorry,
got this. I
I
got
do
this.
apologize. I
Can,
do
can,
apologize.
no,
I
no,
guess
Rowan.
I
Here's the thing,
confuse
though.
racism with
What? Here's
xenophobia.
the thing. What? This is too stupid to make up.
Okay. All right. That
The
sounds
royal
better.
family. Let's ask about the royal family. A dude Lily said, and I quote, that was already inhabited by Native Americans. This is too stupid to make up. Already inhabited by Native Americans. Lily said, "This is my land. No, this is my land. This is my kingdom. I own it. My family will own it, and it will go down to generation to generation. Here's the thing: how many people of color are in the royal family?
None at the moment. No,
None.
there obviously was Megan at one point, but now there's none.
And so I'm going like this: from just Great Britain alone, what meant? Here's the thing, because y'all did have a royal. Y'all went on an iron. No, what was it? Oligarchy. Oligarchy. So let me say this: all these rich white dudes that basically ran your country, and rich white women that wasn't even considered as women, they were considered as their queen, even though they were just the wife, were literally making laws in your country. Not only that, in your country, y'all participated in the same thing that America is participating in, but about a shorter length. Not only that, y'all went to another country. Y'all went to another country that was inhabited by Native Americans and said this is a new world, and literally made the 13 colonies and came to British America, made British America. What other nationality has done that?
Look, I see where I've mistaken myself. I've obviously
Yeah,
confused racism with xenophobia, and I think that was just an error on my part because I'm just looking at the definition right now. But then it also says a definition of racism that it could be a discrimination to a particular ethnic group as well.
right.
It's not
Now, why
just
do you think they included ethnic group in that? Because there is an ethnic group that is considered a race. Do you know what race that is? Or what ethnic group, what sub-ethnic group at one point was considered a race, even though
what?
now they have assimilated into whiteness?
What would that be?
Schmittler, Mustache Man, 1940s. Who didn't he like? He didn't
The
consider them
Jews,
white.
Jewish people.
Right. So they're an ethno-religious group, and that is what the ethnic in that is talking about.
Okay.
Like this throughout history. Here's the thing: throughout history, from basically from when the king first took office, first ruled his kingdom, to now, how many men of color has made laws throughout that time?
Sorry, what was the question?
Listen, Blackwing, you're derailing the whole conversation because you just keep asking different questions.
But
Go
this is
ahead,
actually
Rowan.
everything. But
Let
everybody
him
knows
get
that
through
basic.
let him get through
Okay,
the questions, though, man. Go ahead, Rowan. Go ahead. Second question, third question, fourth question. Keep it going.
No, I just for me, I guess my only concern is what the exact what racism actually entails, and obviously
System of power built on those that deem one race superior and all the rest inferior. It's that simple. It's a system of
okay.
power or practice.
Again, I guess that
Look up
definition could be
Google.
quite subjective as well because
That is a damn lie. Don't tell me it's subjective. Google the word ism.
I'm just
Google the
I've got
word
the
ism.
definition of
Google the
racism
word ism.
here,
You like
and
Googling.
it's prejudice,
Google
discrimination, or
Google the word
antagonism by an
ism.
individual,
Google the
community, or
word ism.
institution.
Google the word ism.
I've just googled
ISM.
racism here.
Google the word ism. ISM. Google the word ism.
I have the definition of racism up here.
Google the word ism. ISM. Google the word ism. It is a suffix on the word racism. It is part of the goddamn word. Google the word ISM and tell me the
Something
definition.
mental intended.
Read the definition.
But
Read the definition.
why would you break the word up into two when
Read
I
the
could just
definition. Because that's how you find the meaning of a word. You can split it up. Race, ism. What is we know what race is. We just said what that was. What
the
is the
act or practice or process of doing
There
something?
you go. A act is a system or practice. So discriminating based on someone's race and a system of practice is racism. I'm not going to sit here and go over Google definitions because also in that definition that you used, go ahead, read the racism definition from fucking Google, please. Read it again.
1 second, just bear with me.
I'm so tired.
Um,
I'm so tired of them coming up here and trying to use Google goddamn definitions. It's annoying as hell. because they don't know how
Prejudice,
to read or
discrimination, or
read it.
antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership of particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized.
On the basis of their what?
Their particular racial or ethnic group.
Basis. So when when whitey people are xenophobic or feel hatred towards another person that is also in the same racial group as
But it's
them.
also ethnic
I
group.
know,
That's what
but
it
they're
says in our
also
definition.
European, so they're also in the same
It's
ethnic
still
group.
it's still a different
It's
ethnicity.
a sub-ethnic group. I might be. We're not. We all ate breakfast this morning, but just because I ate bagels and you ate waffles doesn't mean we had two different meals. Do you understand?
I would still consider it
Because
as an
you can
ethnicity.
always consider that there's a sub-ethnic group within an ethnic
And
group.
I think
There's
I think
different
that's the
ethnicities
difference. I
within
think that's
Germans, but Germans came together and created a system of oppression that oppressed Jewish people.
but I also think that that's a big difference between America and the UK. We consider, like, when I'm doing a form, there's specific categories for we don't just have black, white. I don't know what you guys have, but I feel like they're a lot more generalized. Ours are more specific to the point. You know, when you
That's what
ask
I'm
where am I
saying.
from, I
You're
said I'm
ignorant
mixed.
on the topic of race, but yet you're coming up here as a professional defender of colonizers. And I think it's wild.
I don't know.
I'm
I guess for me, I just see everyone as an individual, and I just, I don't agree
But
with
yet it
racism at all.
said a system. It said you can discriminate. It says you can discriminate on an individual, but it doesn't say that it is individualistic because an ism is a system of practice. I can
Yeah, but
perpetuate a system of practice onto an individual. For example, police are discriminatory. Name one time where white tea people have been hunted by police. Name one time where white tea people, solely on the basis of their membership to whiteness, is colonized. Name one African colony in Europe. Name one white person in Europe who has the last name Wigwe because their great 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 grandparents were enslaved by Africans. Name one white person in Europe who speaks an African language that they did not choose to learn because their great 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 grandparents were taught that language by their enslaver.
yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from in that
No, I
regard.
mean, but see, that's the thing
You're
is
talking
we can
about the
all
present
look into
moment
the
now.
small itty bitty details to find a little bit of thing where technically, if you want to look at it this way, but it's like you're missing the big ass picture to try to zoom in on individuals and say, well, this person didn't like this person, so that's racist. When there's been a system of oppression for 400 years in your
Of
face,
course,
you want to zoom
I'm
in on, oh,
not
well, white people don't
I'm
like
not
other white people,
disregarding
so that's racism. Like,
that
stop
other
it, bro.
communities. I'm not disregarding that other communities feel racism more, but at the same time, I do acknowledge that there is racism throughout. You know,
There
all
is no
communities.
racism by white people
I'm
to
not
other white
disregarding. I'm
people
not
except for
disregarding the
what
struggles
Germans
of.
did to Jews. That's it.
Sorry.
There is no racism from white people to other white people except for what happened in World War II.
And I really want to ask this question to Rowan. Rowan, how many wars have it started by race?
Nobody has ever said Eastern European was a race.
No, how many? Here's the thing: how many wars have minorities have started over a color?
Probably a fair few.
Really? So minorities, like in
Oh,
people of color.
minorities. Oh, no, not minorities. It's the colon. Most of the wars and colonizations have been started by white people.
So if every system in this country has been started by Wahiti people,
When did they
Wahiti people.
when did they colonize Eastern Europe?
Exactly. I'm going like this. If every here's the thing: if every country in this world has literally got a white delegate, like even parts of South Africa, you got to imagine Nigeria and South Africa are both British colonies, are both British colonies. Not only that, there are Australians, but guess what? There are Aborigine indigenous damn people who live in Australia, but Australia is a British colony. So I'm going like this: all these British colonies that Great Britain has, but they eliminated the people of color that originally lived there and said it was their own. Why don't y'all see that you benefit the most from this thing we call racism? It's an ism. It's the actual systematic system. Y'all never forget the system. Y'all never seem to realize there's a systematic part to racism. Systematic means laws, processes, and
I know
policies
that.
to keep another race down. That's basically what it is. So systematic racism, you'll always forget the systematic part.
I totally agree with you in that regards because some of my ancestors have been colonized before as well. Like my granddad grew up in India and was there at the time where the British invaded, and that's the whole point that my mom lives in the UK because of that reason. Because then they moved to Africa from there, and then from Africa they moved here.
Every day I get someone that can't read Google. It's annoying as hell. All right. So anyway,
Well,
are
look,
you finished or are you done?
I appreciate what you have to say.
It's just annoying because it keeps happening. Like every day, somebody can't read Google. There are books that are written by this. If you want to learn about racism more than just a quick little Google search, there's books by doctors, actual scholars on the subject. Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., the
Look, my
Compensatory
personal
Counter-Racist Code. Look
yeah.
it up. There's books.
I've
There's Jane
also got
Elliott, who is an anti-racist. She has many books, but to be honest, you might get the most from her YouTube videos. Jane Elliott, very two English names that you probably easy to spell. Jane Elliott. Look her up. Like look up people that have written books instead of looking at one sentence on Google and not knowing the context in which that sentence was written. Because when it mentions ethnicity, it means what went on in Nazi Germany, because what was going on there, Hitler had considered the Jewish people a separate race. He declared them a race and perpetuated systems that he had learned in America onto them. He learned by looking at what happened to black people in America. He said it in his own autobiography. He learned by looking at what happened to my people in America and then did it to the Jewish people in Germany. That's what they did. So that's a whole thing, but they have now been classified as white tea. I've had a Jewish man come up here early on this live and admitted that he's a white man. So, they were a race for a time, but no longer. And there is no Eastern European race. There are ethnicities that are considered races, but there is no Eastern European race. They're all the same race. They're both white. Ricky, what's going on? Give us your age, race, and pronouns. Ricky Rowe something.
thank you for that,
My
brother.
bad, my bad, my bad, my
All
bad.
right.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So age 42, race Haitian, black, and he.
All right. Thanks for coming up, and go ahead and answer the questions for us.
All right, perfect. So first one, I would say yes, everyone. Um, I was watching this news article about white people in South Africa. They are living the racism in reverse, meaning like they are the one who being attacked financially. So every jobs now is only for black people posted. So they're really feeling the effect of like
That's
this.
bullshit, man. Come on, man. Why you come up here? Why you a black man? Why
No,
you
Yeah,
come with that bullshit?
that's real bullshit.
No, it's not. It's real
no,
bullshit.
that's not
They
No,
emotion.
Ricky,
It's
said
just
10% of the country and they own
I'm
70%
just
um,
of
saying
Africa.
I'm
South
just
Africa.
saying that
And you're
those
not just
white
saying, you're
people
saying a bunch of bullshit right now.
just
They're
just
10% of
just
the
that
country. They're 10% of the
yeah,
population.
exactly,
Listen to me.
exactly.
Listen to me.
But No,
They're
I'm just going to say
10%
this point.
of the population, and they own 70%, more than 70% of the land in South Africa. 10% of the population of South Africa owns 70% of the land in South Africa that their grandparents came to South Africa and colonized. How are you the
I,
hell are you telling me they're the victims of
okay,
racism?
hold up.
No, no. This is what I can't
I'm just.
understand. This is what I can't
No, hold
understand.
up. Can I finish my point? Can I finish my point? So I was saying those people they're feeling the effect of racism on them, but then if they go out from the boundary of that country, they have no racism against them. They probably like it's not the
What
word
goes on to
racism.
them in that country is not racism either. Listen, I'm not going to do it,
Is
bro.
prejudice.
I'm not going to do it with a brother. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that today.
Bro,
Kaz, do you
I'm
listen,
going with this.
brother?
He never thought that. Here's the thing. Like he never learned about apartheid. Apartheid lasted until 2001. I want to put this in perspective. Apartheid lasted from what 1985 to 2001. I want y'all to put that in perspective. And it wasn't black people killing other black people. That black on black crime stuff in Africa, being the fact that they're only 10% of dude, there is a triple K in South Africa.
Some of y'all will watch the movie Jason or Freddy or one of those horror movies, and at the end, when the person that survived all the atrocities unalives the monster that's been chasing them the entire movie, y'all will be like, she's just as bad as the monster is. Like, this is ridiculous. If you're watching a horror movie and you see a woman running from Freddy the entire movie, and then she finally uses the pitchfork that Freddy was trying to unalive her with against Freddy, y'all will literally look at her and say, "Well, they're both bad." Like, it's annoying as hell. What's going on in South
No,
Africa is justice. That's not the
I'm
same
not.
thing
I'm not
as
here saying
racism.
no.
Because
The,
hold on, Blackwing. If it was racism, then it would be happening. If it was racism against Europeans, then South Africa would be called South Europe, and it would be happening somewhere in Europe. It's not.
okay, I got my
They brought
information
them
wrong.
white asses down to Africa, and they getting what's happening when you colonize people's land in South Africa. That's just what happened.
Okay,
People get
here's
justice.
the thing. I got my information wrong. Let me do a correction. It was 1945 to 1998. That was basic, and that was the actual apartheid. But we talking about also the economic apartheid as well. That lasted longer. Like seriously, they
Happening
were
today.
basically strike. They were physical strikes that led into full on violence for African Americans, no, for Africans in
I
South
dropped it.
Africa. I said African Americans, Africans basically asking, "Why are you taking my land? But why are we a sideshow? This and this and this." So I'm going like this. It's also basically the fact that in South Africa there was racism in this country that was so severe they was influenced by another fucking country, which is the U.S. Here's the thing: people don't know this.
Blackwing, man, you're scaring people away, man.
All right, let
I'm
me get out
trying
of
to,
here then.
because we can't keep going back and forth. Thank you. Kit Kat, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns? I know you've been up here before, sister, but just for the audience.
Yeah. No, yeah. Hello, how are you? Um, why do I always forget too? You said, okay, I'm 34, I'm black, and she, her.
You said you said.
I just wanted to talk about the Christianity being racist.
Go
Um, absolutely. Um, I feel like I don't know how I could explain it itself being racist, but I feel like it's just another like tool or weapon that they use against us. I think that until they change the face of Christianity, first of all, first and foremost, it's always going to be like a symbol of racism to me. Exactly. Jesus is black. Exactly. I feel like just the fact that they have the Jesus or he's represented as like a YT person with blue eyes and all this stuff is I mean we all in even at this point where we all know that's not true is still a thing and that's crazy to me but I feel like that picture of like a YT man being like the being everything, you know what I'm saying, being like the savior, like being Christ, I feel like it's Yeah, I just feel like it's racist. I don't think I'm articulating it very well, but I agree with that.
I heard
Basically.
that.
Do you
I
understand
heard,
what I'm trying to say?
yeah, absolutely.
Kinda?
If I
Okay.
show you, a little black boy, and I tell you, you know, this is so and so's son, you can assume that so and so is a black man. So
Right, exactly.
they show you a white T man and say this is God's son. So what does God look like? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
like not like you, not like us, right? So yeah, it makes it seem like that's better once again, or the best, I guess. Which to me makes it racist, especially since it's a lie. Um, so yeah, everything else I know that I've shared my opinion on already before, but of course people can experience racism. Though white tea women being considered a minority, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. I would say no, but I guess so. But I'm not sure.
They're
Just
not.
yeah,
They're
skip.
technically their intersection, their demographic is the largest in America, but they're considered a
Is it really?
minority. Yeah, it is. There's more white T women than men, and they're still considered a minority. And because of that, they get access to a lot of the things that were created to, address some of the disparagement in our groups. For example,
Yeah, I
affirmative
was
action.
reading about. Right, I was gonna say I saw something about affirmative action.
Yeah. So imagine if affirmative action didn't go to
Is it?
the largest demographic in America and actually went to our community, we'd have a lot more employment in our community, the least employed, demographic in America. You know, so there's that.
Right.
It's actively hurting
That
us.
is very interesting. Yeah, so I learned something new tonight, as usual. Because no, I didn't know that at all. So thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Appreciate you, sister. Thank you as always for coming up.
Of
Um,
course.
Ratty, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't hear you.
Your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I am 22. I'm black and she slash her.
Okay. Thank you, sister. And could you answer questions for us, top to bottom?
Oh yeah, I wanted to clarify a few things because people are talking about South Africa and I'm a South African myself. And I feel like people are spreading misinformation about South Africa and a lot of stuff that are happening in South Africa alone. First of all, I wanted to say that white people don't experience racism in South Africa, and the agenda that they were pushing that white people were getting killed with farm murders is lies. Because if you look at the stats, it's black people that are getting killed more
All right.
by
Please stop saying the
farmers.
kick word.
Because,
Unalive. Unalive, please. Please. Thank you, though.
sorry?
Please say
Oh,
unalive instead of KI double hockey sticks.
oh, sorry. Oh,
Please.
sorry. They're basically unaliving them because they don't want to pay them minimum wage. They pay them less than that. Um, and as well as apartheid still continues, like racism is still huge in South Africa because we have things as they still control the media. Because if a white person basically commits a crime or something, they never put their faces on headlines or their names on headlines. It's just a white male did A, B, and C, but their photos, their trial is never broadcasted online. And I just feel like people have this thing where they're trying to say that black people are killing, sorry, unaliving, unaliving white people when it's not even happening. It's just propaganda
Yeah.
that the DA, a DA is a party in South Africa,
Yeah, I know.
a
Yeah.
political party,
Hmm.
yeah, that was trying to push a whole agenda about South Africans doing that or black people because of what Julius Malema was saying, which is a struggle song that was sang like in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
Just
I feel like the problem, so I don't think white people can experience racism, especially in Africa, because they still control most of the stuff that happens in Africa.
It's named South Africa. Last time I checked, that wasn't a Zulu, Khoisan, or any other kind of name. It's named South Africa. So
Yes, literally. It
it's
hasn't
literally
changed.
named.
They wanted to change the name, but it's been in the books ever since.
That's right.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to say and clarify.
Back to the live. Malema for president, y'all. Malema 2024. We're rooting for y'all. Omi,
Hey, how are
what's
you
good?
doing?
I'm good, family. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Which line was it that I saw? Oh, I've been wanting to ask you a couple questions, and then I'll ask this one's first because it's related to the question: can black and YT cultures fully coexist? Um, I think that's an interesting question because it's asking about culture, not people. Um, so like I think that and first just to introduce myself to people who don't know me. My name's Omiyomi. Uh, my pronouns are they, them. Racially, I'm black, but I'm Afro Indigenous and YT. And I'm 24. So to answer the question, can black and YT cultures fully coexist? It's interesting. I was just in another live and we were trying to discuss like, is there even such thing as YT culture to begin with? And I used to always like snap answer no, because like when people try to cite what YT culture is, they try to point to Irish culture, Italian culture. I'm like that's not YT. I'm like that that's different. And then um and then if you speak, if you were to tell an Irish person, an Italian person, or just an Irish, a Scottish person, and a Welsh person that they're the same thing as an English person, it's like they wouldn't vibe with that at all because of the history there and the culture is just totally different. But YT is just a construct of power, really. And the culture itself is really all about just stealing power and money from people, Black and Indigenous communities, and protecting that power, even if it means hurting their own. But also, like, I was, it was funny. I was like, oh, you know what? I lied because I guess YT culture also looks like, not seasoning your food because of your YT supremacist ideology about food and pure food and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure you're familiar with like the whole aristocrat pure food idea that they stopped using their seasoning because that was considered too ethnic for them. So, and then like not having rhythm in your music, like having shitty music, that's pretty YT
That was
culture.
Herbert Hoover, or no, not Herbert Hoover. The FBI guy. What's his name? I'm
Mm.
drawing a blank. FBI early days. He's the one that kicked Marcus Garvey out.
Uh, I'm trying to think who that would be.
Come on, guys. The FBI. Come on.
Come on, somebody in the chat, save
Yeah,
us.
yeah. The main FBI guy. That was the evil guy.
Uh-huh.
J. Edgar. Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover.
J. Edgar. Thank you,
Yeah,
Christian,
J. Edgar
saving the
Hoover
day.
invented. Well, yeah. I heard the story about how I'm not sure if he invented it, but he said that it was better for white people to do line dancing, um,
Yeah.
and to be offbeat or something like that. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's wild. And then also like another like uniquely YT cultural thing is like, lack of hygiene too. Like we know that, I mean, to this day, there's a lot of YT people who do not own a washcloth to wash their legs. So is that culture, um, is it possible for that culture to coexist with black culture? Like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not eating food without any flavor. I'm not listening to music without any rhythm, and I'm not gonna like just forget to wash my legs and take care of my health. So like that led to smallpox, unaliving many indigenous people around the world, and along with just really really shitty British food to this day. So it's like, so I don't think they can coexist at all. And then you can also And you can also say, like, look at just like the existence of biracial children, like how, like, look at how much suffering they experience because they don't know what to do with half of their family, or like how to identify with them, or whatnot. And then like their whole life is a proximity battle. And so like I think that, um I think that is just, it just reveals everything, you have to say about like, can they coexist? I think it's obviously no. And then like, is modern Christianity racist? Like, definitely in America. And I would say, American Christianity is very different than Christianity in some parts of the world. But then also, Christianity, like, that was spread and proselytized to other people like in Africa and in Asia, was brought by American Christians most of the time. So it's like most Christianity, even Christianity in West Africa, is racist as heck because it was brought by, YT Americans to West Africa. So like, yeah, I definitely think so. And the fact, like, how offended they get when they see a brown baby Jesus on Christmas, and a nativity scene should say it all to you. It's like, Jesus wasn't brown. Jesus wasn't black. And then like the total erasure of like Christianity, or just Abrahamic faith in Ethiopia, because they don't want to acknowledge that their belief system comes from Africa, So like, definitely. Um, I thought it was interesting, like, the should white women be considered a minority group? Because I never once in my life thought of them as a minority group, but then it's like the way, turfs or just like YT feminist maneuver is almost like this idea that they're the most oppressed group in the world, when obviously that's not the case. Like of course sexism and patriarchy, and misogyny all exist, but then it's like you got to look at the intersectionality at the end of the day. It's like, do black women have the same level of privilege as you? Do they represent the same amount of the population as you do? Definitely not. And then just like also looking at, like, I always kind of laugh at feminism in the United States because like there is a lot of patriarchy here that's super problematic, but then it's like they don't want to speak on feminism globally. They don't want to speak about how women how are they being treated in other countries, across the globe. Even just, and then just looking at, and I guess that's my issue, with that. And then, can anyone experience racism? Um, well, I don't think anyone can. I think more people can than people expect. And like, I'm curious to hear your opinion, because I feel like people do like kind of mental gymnastics sometimes. Like, for my understanding, like, racism is when you have a systemic power-based system of abuse that is used to oppress a group of people who are not YT. And so I guess my question for you, Brother Legend, is, do you think that like race, like, I hate to get into the diaspora wars and stuff, how people are on here, but it's like, can, indigenous people be racist to black people? Can black people be indigenous? I mean, be racist to indigenous people or Asian people? Like, how do you feel about like internal conflicts within minority racial groups?
Well, there's a book on this. Frank Wilderson, Afro. You know me, I always got a book, man.
Right, you always giving me a reading list. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Because I try not to speak from anecdote, and I try
Right.
to just regurgitate what I've learned so that others can learn as well. Um, it also conveniently gives me a doctor or a scholar to fall back on when I do make a point. But um, Dr. Frank Wilderson, Afro Pessimism. He speaks about how all oppression in the West is rooted in black oppression. All oppression.
True.
Homophobia, patriarchy,
Yes.
sex, everything, whatever, religious oppression, all of it stems from the oppression of black people, because we feel all other forms of oppression We're unique in the sense that all forms of other repressions affect us, and largely disproportionately. Um, However, no other subgroup or demographic feels everything that we feel. They feel pieces of it. So, Native Americans were colonized and deleted from the land. We've also been colonized and deleted from our land. Jewish people went through a Holocaust. We've went through several, with millions more than what happened in WW2. And just everything, anything you could name. Patriarchy affecting women, it affects our women a hell of a lot worse. So
I like that you mentioned like, homophobia or transphobia because
yeah,
people realize that that's like a post-colonial oppressive tool because pre-colonial Africa,
yeah,
like most
getting
ethnic
down.
groups, most ethnic groups were very inclusive and understanding. And same thing in, indigenous cultures across the Americas and so on and so forth. So yeah, I've been,
Spirit.
was that?
Native Americans call them a two spirit.
Right, two
Um,
spirit. Like, see, like in my mom's side, that is Chumash of California. Like we're called Aki, and there's so many different terms, but the spirit term describe the same phenomena because we almost all have the same like philosophy or understanding of what it is, but we just have different languages. And if you look at, and it's crazy because the more I dove into like my pre-colonial like cultural understanding of like Yoruba society, like the philosophy is like very similar there too. And you see it in India, you see it all. So basically, like most people of color are, I guess like a lot of immorality or like just like brutality like came from colonialism, of course. And, so like I don't know why we're so shocked by that, but it's like, in black and indigenous communities around the globe, I mean, like loving humans for being human is just like obvious. Like I don't know why it's such like a
right.
issue today. Like I even got in a debate. Okay, I was in a debate with this in this group about, I forget, I think it was about trans identity, and the host was a YT woman, but there was a lot of black people in the panel. And then one of them came up and he was extremely Yoruba. He was like, he was like my Oluwo. He was like this old grandpa from Nigeria. And I was like, okay, let's talk about this. But he was a Christian. And so he's been indoctrinated in that racist Christianity and whatnot in, subtle ways. And then he was, very transphobic because of that, unfortunately. But then I just code switched and I just started speaking to him respectfully in Yoruba and then translating it for everybody else. Like how do you define like Olodumare in our term versus in English when you're reading the Bible? I'm like, what gender is Olodumare? And he didn't even know how to answer that question. I'm like, yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
Uh,
know,
Lack of pronouns because we just respected each other as members of the tribe. That was it. We didn't have,
exactly.
we didn't have to create these categories where you're she and you're he and all that other stuff is
Right, it's
just
just
part of the
you
tribe.
versus me. Yeah. And there was like 5 or 6 different gender roles and like different terms for those people who like navigated that way, but they're not really used today, but you can still see it there in some states in Nigeria, like especially where my family still lives today in Oshun. It's more traditional and more rooted in pre-colonial practices, and so it's kind of interesting. But it's unfortunate because of colonialism, the spread of Christianity, and so on. Like we have these diaspora wars, and we're oppressing our own people. But yeah, so and then like my last question, and then I'll pass to everybody else. Is I've been in some lives that black TikTok where we're talking about segregation, and there's a lot of younger content creators in the black community who are advocating for segregation, just minus the Jim Crow. Like, so I'm like, that's interesting. I never really thought about that before. So they're like, okay, we should have our own communities. And you know, typically around the, you know, the reparations topics. And it's like they almost like are envisioning, I don't know, Black utopian society, but almost like in a reservation system. And it's like, you know, for me, since I grew up partially on the reservation where my grandmother lived, it's like, you don't want that, you know? But then also it's like we had Greenville before we were terrorized, and Tulsa, and, you know, so like Black excellence is real. But yeah, how do you feel about that?
We had Africa. That's what I'm saying. If
Right.
we got to take it from Utopia to Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
Ethiopia is
Ashe.
the name of all of Africa. But yeah, you know, um, just like what we were saying about race and the definition of race, people don't know the context in which race was created. Race wasn't created to put everyone in a separate, equal box so that these are these kind of people and these are these kind of people, and God made them all equally and loved them all. Like, that's not why race was made. Race was
Right.
made because they said, we want to take their land. They've got all the resources that we need because we're in resource lacking Europe. There's no resources here. We don't got gold or nothing here. Like, what the hell? They have all the resources. We want that. And then they found America. They said, we want this land. So you know what? Christianity, none of y'all are Christian. The Pope said we can do it. Let's go get them, guys.
Right.
It created a caste system.
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing with what were you just saying? What was the last question about? I veered off too far. What was the last question about?
It was about like the separated
Oh yeah, right.
communities.
So now segregation and liberation look the same to those that lack context. This is what I'm saying about the definition of race. Like, we can look at the definition, but when you look at it with context, the reason it mentions ethnicity is because of what happened in World War II. The Jewish people were considered a separate race.
Right.
That's what Hitler made them a race. That's what he did. But now, when we're talking about separation and liberation, they look the same. You know,
Right.
you see a woman running away from Freddy Krueger, and it looks like she wants segregation, and you know Freddy Krueger's trying to unalive her. So she's not segregating, she's not separating, she's liberating herself. She's running out of Jason X's basement or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference. Is with context, we know for 400 years and to this day, up until this day, what's going on with Black people. They don't want separation just for separation's sake. They want togetherness and to have a safe space. They don't want to
Right.
just be away from white people just because without any
Exactly. It's just
cause or
safety.
reason. We just don't
But
like their white skin. No, you know. So that's
you
the
know
thing.
what, brother?
Yeah.
Sometimes people need to look through the lenses that they're seeing the world through. And I always say this to biracial Black people. And I'm going to say this
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that monoracial Black people don't get. We don't
Mm.
have to worry about excluding a family member. We have to worry about us as a people and what people that look like us. We don't have to say, well, my mom is this or my aunt is that. I show up Black every time. So I don't have to go, well, I'm excluding this person or I'm leaving this person out. No, I'm trying to elevate my people. And sometimes that's a danger to our community when you have to worry if the person that has other people, other races, family members feels the need to make sure that these people aren't being excluded when you've never been included in anything. And I
Right.
want any person that is biracial, any person you mixing something and you Black, you need to always think like monoracial people aren't saying they're trying to get away, or like brother said, like this level of separation. We don't have anything. Everything we've built continuously is taken away from us. So when do we get to have something that we can actually capitalize on and build for our own people, for our children, for our children's children? We've never been even given the space to breathe. They always up our tail in one way or another. So it's literally through the eyes in which you see things. And sometimes you have to wonder, like, are they talking about segregation? Are they talking about having a little Black America? Like you
Right.
go to Houston and they got a little Tokyo, little China. You go like China. We can go anywhere. Little Mexico. And Black people are critiqued for wanting to build for themselves. It's the saddest thing to
Mm-hmm.
think, oh, you're creating segregation when segregation already happened. We was already excluded from everything. Hell,
Right.
we was excluded. We built our own, and they came back and tore that down.
But I think we just have to be careful because like there's this whole thing called like racial confinement where like they try to push us into neighborhoods and then they want to pollute our water. They want to, destroy our infrastructure and basically, commit acts of terrorism
But
against
that's
us
the
in
whole
subtle
point.
ways.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Why continuously throughout history, every time we try, see, we're lazy, we're sorry, we don't want them, we don't have them for ourselves, we don't build anything, we don't have any work ethic, we don't have any drive. These are all things that have been put on black people, particularly black men's shoulders. And then you look up
Mm.
and you say, every time they built something, just like you said, polluted water, destroying our community, figuring out a way to bomb or just come in and tear something
Or
down,
even just
you have to
defunding our
wonder.
schools.
Exactly. So if we're always the center of your attention, but we're the worst group of people, why is it you always riding our backs?
Right.
It's a need not only for you to have your finger, like literally for us to be under your thumb and have a level of control on us, but to utilize us for your benefit while still starving us from growing within ourselves.
That's facts. All right. Well, thank you, Omi, for coming up. And I'm gonna go to the next guest real quick.
I can drop if you need to bring anybody else up.
Okay, yeah, appreciate it, man.
Thank y'all. Appreciate you.
All right, one love, family. Um, Prince Coffee, what's going on?
What's going on, brother? Man, I just want to touch on that Holocaust stuff. I just feel like that's still white on white crime. At the end of the day, even though if Hitler make them a race or not, these people are still the same people to me. They, if you look at the DNA, if you study where they come from, they are the same people.
Yeah.
So there, anything that's happened in their area, it considers just like how we have tribal war against, in Africa, we fight against each other.
Right.
That don't mean that's racism. No, it's not. That just, tribes dealing with tribes. Just like how they dealing with each other with her, it ain't got nothing to do with no racism, man. Anybody that come over here, and for those people that touching on Africa, man, if on this panel, you're gonna find some African people. There are children in Africa over here. We are born and raised out there. You know what I'm saying? We still got people out there, family that, we still in contact with. Especially with South Africa and stuff. I have a team in South Africa. Right. The Jews run that place. White people running that place. I mean, media and everything. I mean, with my team, we're trying to show a movie over there. They want to allow that to even use the theater in our own continent. Like, we can't show a documentary to actually enlighten our people to telling them who they are. They're afraid of us coming together so bad that we know how many hoop that we have to go through to show a movie in South Africa. I was like, wow, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that going on that people don't see, that these people are still in control no matter where you go, right? We are here, talking about all these things, but they're still running the show. They're still running the stuff. So it's possible for us to be racist, for everybody to be, experience racism. No, it don't work that way. It's a system. It's a systematic thing. And it's so people that benefit from it, not us.
Yeah, I heard that. That's facts. Thank you for
so yeah, man. That's all I want to touch on. I'm trying to let y'all know that the whole Holocaust stuff, that's white on white. They're dealing with each other.
That's real. That's wild, man, about the continent, man. I'm praying these next 20 years can lift that continent up, man. Free the land.
I think we're doing a good job of we're doing a good job making awareness of the continent, like what's going on in West Africa right now with the Mali, the youth. You gotta understand, Africa have the most of the youth of the world.
Right.
Africa, so the youth are with the TikTok, with all the social media. For a long time, what I'm trying to tell people, that's why I'm in tech, right? For a long time, it take us a while from 3G to go to 4G, but we speed up from 5G. We're going to 6G right now. So the speed of internet now, you know what I'm saying, is going up. So now Africa youth are, we not. It's not like how we used to play back in the day. Now they're in the phone, they're on TikTok. You can see they're on these social medias. Are learning. You know what I'm saying, that privilege that we didn't have back then. Now we have access to that. We didn't have no privilege to the internet. Me growing up in Africa, you have to actually go into a place, to actually pay to use the internet when I was growing up. It's not like out here in the West, you can just go to the library,
You can connect anywhere through Wi-Fi. So we catching up. So that's
We
what
can see
y'all seeing a lot of growth going on right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're
Yeah.
dealing with.
Well, appreciate you, man. Nah, I seen what Ibrahim Traore saying at the UN conference they just had. Very powerful stuff, man. So, the diaspora we watching closely because I'm telling you, as goes Africa, so goes all African people. We waiting for the homeland to get it straight so that we can honestly brothers like me exist, and I'm ready to get the hell up out of here. Problem is, I don't want to go there and have to deal with the same bullshit I got to deal with here. You know what I'm saying? Can't show movies. In Tanzania, it's now illegal for a man to braid his hair. Like this is our like this is what like we can't have our natural styles in the motherland. Like, what are we
Make
doing?
no sense, man. It don't make no sense. That's what I be trying to tell my people. Like even though I was born and raised, we need y'all. We need y'all. We need our brothers from the diaspora to come home.
Yeah,
My group is called the Coming of Diaspora, right?
yeah,
That because it's a bridge. We have to. The two stick need to come together.
yeah,
Those at home waiting for y'all to come because with that they can't mess with us. It's
exactly.
like we have first world education, right? You have
Hmm.
first world, growing up next to the enemy, right hand, and then we have culture. We have lots of information when it comes down to the land. Those of us back home, we can teach y'all about those things that y'all are missing, and y'all can teach us as well about this how the work, and together they can't stop us. We can stop develop our own natural resources and stuff like that. So that's what we start seeing when African Americans and Caribbean start going back home. We start seeing what's happening right now, and in Africa, there's a lot of big influences. The countries, the continent is becoming alive.
Yeah,
It needs its children to come home for that because we've been missing the diaspora for too long. Well,
yeah,
without this internet thing, without this social media, we won't be connecting and talking about these things. So
right.
that's also a blessing. So we need to get our own. We have time. Some of us are in developing apps and stuff like that, in ITs and doing things. We need to come out with our own system so we can have full control of that because they're still running things behind closed doors, and that's the reason why we seem to come together because it's stopping us. But with all those things that's happening back home, with all this country making those rules and stuff, that's because it's the influence behind that. It's not no black men making those decisions. We have to
Yeah,
understand that. There's no black men making those weird decisions. It can be. So that's what we have to avoid. And we have to come against those things. And we definitely need the diaspora to come home to do that with it.
hey man, I appreciate your platform, man, because I've seen you say this even on other lives, man. Everybody go follow this brother, man. He's doing the work. I love that. You got the spirit of
Brother, you
Kwame
you doing the
Nkrumah.
work, man. I'm learning, man. I'm just little brother right
Nah,
now.
keep going.
I love what you're doing, man. I'm learning. As education, we have to educate ourselves. I love when you
Absolutely.
put out those books and stuff like that. We need to read, we need to educate ourselves before we even come in dialogue with each other.
Right.
Education is first. If you don't educate yourself, you're gonna look weird, you're gonna look crazy if you don't have your sources to back what you're saying. And it's not how we're supposed to be educating ourselves. But most definitely, I love the platform. I love all our brothers and sisters that definitely strive to make a change and come home and do something about what is going on with us. This is a generation, man. It's us. If we don't do it, it's gonna be hard for the next one, man. We got to do something about it,
It's
man.
yeah.
We have
I
to.
think we're gonna
So
turn the tide. That's what our
yeah.
generation gonna do, and then hopefully our kids and grandkids just gonna have that. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we'll be around to see
Man, they
it.
have to, man. We gotta pass
Yeah,
down, man. We
got
gotta
to.
do something about it, man. And
Absolutely.
definitely, I'm doing the text. I'm into it, and I know you do tech work, so we definitely got to
Right.
talk and
Absolutely.
definitely, build on that. So I'm
Yes,
definitely
sir.
excited. When I come to your space, most
Yes, sir.
definitely, man. This brother, y'all give it to him, man. He's definitely doing the work, man. That's what it's all about, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. And Wish, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
All right, all right. My age is 45. My race is I'm a black American. Pronouns are he, him.
All right.
Uh, can anyone experience racism? I don't think white people can experience it because they're not really disadvantaged anywhere they go on the planet. Should white women be considered a minority? Maybe because they're women, but definitely not because they are not melanated. Uh, can black and white cultures fully coexist? Show me where it's happening today. Where are they existing and there's an equitable relationship? Show me where on this planet it is happening. And one thing that I kind of find a little interesting is I'm seeing a lot of Africans moving to China, and
Nigerians.
they, yeah,
Yeah.
they they speak Chinese. They're living their best life, and this whole thing that uh, we get in America, uh, you know, black people will tell you, oh, Asian people hate us, and Asian people will tell you, oh, black people hate us, and if it were if that were really true, if our cultures really were like that, you would see a lot of animosity um,
Yeah.
in on the Asian continent and the African continent, and I just don't see that. I see a lot of Black Americans moving to the Philippines, moving to Vietnam. They are loving it. I've seen a lot of Black Americans and Black Europeans
Ask you a question,
move.
sir. Are you seeing black men and black women, or are you just seeing black men?
I'm seeing Black men and women. There's there's
As a
actually
couple or separate?
um, some of them are couples, some of them are separate. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube. I follow a lot of people that are leaving. I call it the Satanic States of America. I'm not that far behind them. Uh,
But you
I don't
won't
want
go
to
to
be
Africa.
shady, but like, let me.
like it is. I think that people think that if you have a family and you all want to move at the same time, yeah, that's going to take a little bit bigger of a financial brick, and there are some challenges that you will experience to leave this country, but it's not impossible. The hardest thing is the desire to leave. Once once you've got the desire to leave, it's about getting a passport and getting some money, and then just making your flights. I mean, that's really it. But
But you need
I've
a visa in
seen.
those countries. If you go to Africa, you don't need a visa.
Oh well, that might be where I go.
Black
No,
people, we
not even
always have to
passport.
go somewhere else that ain't black. That be pissing me off. It's like y'all are ready to run to everybody else but black
I'm
people to build with them. That shit
I
throws me. I'm sorry. I just can't take it no more. I was holding it, but I can't. And what
hope.
is and sir, when you took that whole pause, it let me know that you really talking about black men. And I've seen a lot of black men talk about moving to all these Asian countries too. But what they don't talk about is how they're getting treated over there, how they're being discriminated over there, how literally you're being told where you can and can't go, or how you looked at sideways. It is very interesting how we think everybody is so accepting. No, I take that back. Black men, particularly, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Y'all think everybody accepts y'all. It's like y'all walk around with these goggles on, and y'all are blind to the facts of the reality of what the world really looks like. Why, like brother said, what's wrong with Africa? Like, why am I jumping over to like literally people that poison our hair, that we braid our hair with, people that literally will come build in your community and won't put a dollar or a dime in it, but they care about you, they value you, they will come in your community and hit your women, slap the hell out your women. When they are at your nail shops, they will disrespect your women and mistreat your kids. But it's like we always think they're not as bad as you think. Just go. No, they really are. You the only one that's being the jigaboo in this situation, because I'm sorry, I have yet to meet, and I have plenty of friends of all kinds. I have clients of every race. But it is interesting when you get down to real conversations that are affecting black community, watch how quickly they change their outlook on it. Literally, I had an Asian man tell me he did not know about this 1964, 1965 Civil Rights Bill, but gonna sit there and tell me how black people need to get their stuff together. When black people literally march for you to have the opportunity to be in this motherfucking country and benefit off the backs of us.
But
Sir,
why do
I'm
you want to
sorry.
be here? Why do you want to be
Listen,
here?
listen, you the one telling me I run. If I'm gonna run, if I run somewhere, it's gonna be to Africa. I'm not running to
Okay.
no damn Asia
No,
countries.
no. I I said I follow people that have. I've been to the Philippines. I've been to Holland. I haven't been back to the motherland yet. That is on the agenda. Um, I was just telling you what I see, who I follow. Okay. But staying here in this country for what? Do you think things are going to change? Like they stole our grandparents' wealth. They took that from them. They went to their houses and told them, "This ain't your house no more." They burned their shit down. They found a way to steal our wealth. Do you really think that 50 years from now, 75 years from now, these racist capitalists won't find a way to steal our grandchildren's wealth?
They will, because you have men that are ready to run and not stand up to anything that's actually affecting their community. You will tell us accusing other people of like prioritizing your own people and focusing on how you can build with your own brothers. Yeah, they will be able to do it. They'll keep being able to do it because the divide amongst the black men and the black women is so easily done over here in this country. Because everybody falls for the okie doke because everybody knows or they feel as if the YT ice is colder. You don't have no value or stock in your own people. That's why you're so ready to give everything you built to the other communities.
No, I personally, this is just me. I am just over this thing of America, living in America, and being in America. I don't see any value for it. In 2016, I went and spent 3 months in the Philippines. And then I went and spent 3 months in the Netherlands. What what I learned in the Philippines was that living in America, I don't live in a free country. This ain't free. And when I lived in the Netherlands, Holland, what I learned was I don't benefit from living in a wealthy country, a powerful country. I and I'm over it. I've been to a first world country. There is nowhere in this shithole of a country that looks like that. There's nowhere. Even the nice
You gotta come
neighborhoods.
to Africa, my
You
brother.
said, but
I'm
that's
Come
the thing,
home.
y'all. Ask him.
man,
Ask him, has he been to Africa? See how he
Come
ready to,
home.
you ready to go
Come
everywhere
home.
else. You see the value in what other men have built, but you can it's
Come
like
home,
we
brother.
be ready to why is it that black people are so ready to walk into ready-made houses instead of building from the ground up and figuring out how it benefits us? We be like, oh,
I
it's
might
good
take
over
Prince's
here.
advice and I might
Come
just go to
home,
Africa.
brother. Come home,
I
brother.
got a
Because
year to decide.
let me tell you something about home, right? Because I say this a lot of time when I go to people live when we having this type of discussion. Home have a lot of benefit. What's going on? The same Asian countries that you trying to go to, they coming to Africa. They sending their men. They're not sending them women. They're sending them men. You know what they're doing? They're having children with our women, and those kids is know what's going to come in 20, 30 years. They're going to be the one that's going to be fighting because guess what? They're also Africans, right? It's nothing we can do. If we not coming home, they do the same thing. We ain't gonna be able to fight against them. So Asians are coming over there in big abundance. All the nations of the world coming to Africa. That's why they're not showing you. When you about to fly right now to go any African country, I guarantee they're gonna be more European in that airplane going to the same place than you gonna see any other brother or you gonna see any other sisters in that plane than you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on. Then let's see the benefit of Africa when you go to the things that you don't teach you out here, you don't learn out here. Property. You own your property. Once you get the citizenship of that country, you own a property on your name. Generations can benefit from that. Then also, when you're coming from Western country, your dollar or your money is powerful right now because African country, the way they've been colonized, they make you get more for your dollar. So therefore, you don't really have to sell your stuff and just move out here. You can rent your property here. Then when you go to Africa, you can get that residual income coming in when you're building back home, right? That can help you build until you can be like, okay, I'm done building, then I'm gonna sell my stuff over here. You still can get certain benefit from here. Use that to be Africa can have a lot to offer. There's a lot of country in Africa, over 54 countries in Africa that need your help. Those people need education that you have learned from first world country, right? They need that. You need to learn education from Africa that you've been missing. Right. Those European countries not gonna give you that. Those Asian countries not gonna give you that because they want to go to Africa now. America's done. They've been exploited already. They're trying to get to Africa and get what's next out of there. We have to understand that's the new 20 to 30 years. West Africa is gonna look better than Dubai. Yeah, just mark my word. 20 to 30 years, West Africa is going to look better than Dubai because brothers and sisters that really coming back home is going to make that happen. You don't want to leave that shape. You want to come home, brother. You want to come home. So, stop trying to go to those Asian countries and, just come home, man. If you want to learn how to do it, man, contact us. A lot of Africans in this, in this live and me, myself, we can help you get that done. You know what I'm saying? So let's make it home. Like the sister's telling you, it's the most important for our people to come home instead of go to those other countries.
I'm on my way, my brother. I'm on my way.
And the sisters,
my lease,
because I be seeing
my lease runs out in a year, and I'm out. I'm leaving this continent for sure. I'm out of here because I'm just over it. Whatever's in my bank account, putting it in my bag, and we going. We dipping.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I mean, I'm just over it. And the reason why I went to Holland was I had met a Dutch chick online, and she was dating a black man here, and I became friends with him. So I went to Holland to kind of check out the country for him to see if it was hella racist or what it was like. So while I was living there, I was just kind of chilling and just seeing what it was like. That was his dream to go to Holland, not mine. I never wanted to go to Europe.
You want to be a
It's too
cave
cold.
paper too.
But yeah,
Check
I
out
got a lot of.
Africa, man. I'm telling you, because them sisters.
I'm going.
I got
I'm going to Ghana. I'm going to Nigeria. I got tons of friends in Ghana. I got a bunch of friends in Nigeria,
go down there, man.
and my homegirl from Iowa. She took her children over there, and they loved it so much she left them while she came back to the U.S. finished her degree, but she left them there for a whole year with her family over there, and I think that was pretty cool too.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah,
Brother,
wish you
like
the best, man.
what?
But you,
Brother, listen. Let me ask a serious question to you. What is the value of going everywhere else and seeing people that don't look like you have everything, and you can't go nowhere and see your people have the same thing? You can't go nowhere where people that look like you have nothing, like what you see everybody else have.
yeah. I mean,
I told you why I went to Holland. It wasn't for me.
Are you
It's too cold.
go to
hey,
Africa.
Coochie?
We wishing you the
I
best. He sounds
I
like he
told
did.
you.
So we gonna take your word for it, man. And are you married?
Me no.
All right. So you know what I'm
No.
saying. You're a young eligible bachelor. You know what I'm saying. You can find you an American citizen.
Come home, man. You belong home, man.
You know what I'm
You
saying.
I'm
belong
If you
home, man.
want,
You
if you
don't need
want
to
to
be
go
going
places,
to
if
come
you
home.
want to go places for women, look no further than the
I'm
motherland. You know what I'm saying? Some of those Nigerian and Ghanaian and South African sisters, some of those Senegalese or Kenyan sisters, you can sell a laptop on that thing. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Big and
but yeah,
round. Absolutely.
I'm
Big
I'm
round and brown.
I'm
That's how we
I'm
like it.
open to go anywhere. I
Them
just
big
want out
forehead
of here.
East African sisters. You know what I'm saying? We love big foreheads, big lips. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful. But
Home and live like King Solomon, man. Go home and live like King Solomon. Don't you want
that's what I'm
that?
trying
Like,
to
come
tell
on,
him.
go
Like, you
home.
don't understand. Like, I'm married. I'm married already. You know
Hmm?
what I'm saying? I got me a sister from the U.S., but shoot. I was
Still a wet
we don't
brother.
live in paradise. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm with that. Um, African, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
25, black, Kenyan and Jamaican,
Okay,
and I'm a man.
thank you, brother.
And
I know you
what if
need
I told you Dr. Umar supports the passport, bros?
really. You didn't say that.
Oh, let him go.
Yeah, he
Oh,
does. No, but hold on. There's a catch to it, of
I
course.
just
There's a
want.
catch. He only supports the ones going to Africa.
That's what I'm about to say. If you're going to do it, go to Africa. But also, we need to recognize that our sisters in America deserve our loyalty first. You know what I'm saying? That's why that's not why, but I got me an African American sister. I can tell you, it is something to date someone that's from the same tribe. It is different, but you
Yeah.
know.
when I,
Long
when
as
I
I see a
said
black man with a black woman, I'd be happy. I ain't gonna hold you.
when I said Dr. Umar supports passport bros, just to hear the shock, it was funny. I just need to say that, just to hear people's
I don't
reaction.
nobody
I'm
beating
with
up.
it too. I'm telling you, I'm
Let
with
them
it too.
go.
Listen, man, the videos I be seeing of African women, because on my feed is just all Africa, Africa all day, and I
Yeah,
be like, damn, what? Whew.
yeah. I mean,
We
I'm
got
part Kenyan. I've seen
shade.
them.
We
They're
got all
nice
type of
still.
shades, all type of size, all type of shades. I'm telling you, Africa got it.
And they be looking
Yep.
approachable. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all are intimidated by those non-approachable looking women. Like they be chilling, looking natural, just chilling. Like, what's up? Got that? Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh
the
man.
Zulu women, oh man, look at their little tribal dance. Them Zulu sisters be, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Knocking into each other, amazing.
Oh man.
But go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, can anyone experience racism? Nah, obviously not. They can't. Well, white tea people can't. Should white women be considered a minority? In what way? Are they like what part of the global minority? Maybe that way, but what do you mean like what like in
Yeah,
what way are
yeah.
they a minority?
I think when we think of minority, we think of protected group, and minority is people that are less than the majority. So um, white women are the largest demographic in America, um, and I believe Europe too. But they're considered a minority in both places. So should they get the same protections as other minorities?
They're
When,
they're not they're not oppressed. When Brad was going around the world causing chaos, mayhem, and trouble, Becky was right beside her cheering him on.
yeah.
So no,
Are
none
you?
of that.
We are. We do suffer oppression through our gender, regardless of
Wait, hold
race.
on.
So,
Wait,
and
hold
we
on.
No,
should
no, you don't.
we shouldn't
No,
talk
you
about
don't.
it.
No, you don't.
Hold on. We didn't get
I
there
can give
yet.
you a lot of stories if you want to
Katie,
hear
we
it.
want to hear you. We want to hear
I'm
you.
sure you do.
Hold on. We have an order to
I'm sure.
everything.
Oh, here we go. Because
Yes.
I'm white, you guys are going to generalize, right? You're going to tell me who I am and what I went through,
That
right?
that you showing up white solely. That you even when you go to a job, you have a better opportunity of getting hired
Oh, do
because you're
I?
white,
Do I
and you
really?
get to say
Because you
you're a
know me,
minority
right?
and literally
No,
reap the
because you're white.
benefits
Because
off the
you
backs
know,
of
right?
being
You
that
live the
black
life
people,
of a
something
white
black
person.
people
So
march
you
for.
can tell
Ma'am,
me
you
what
are white. You
every
have
white
every privilege in the
person
world.
goes through.
Y'all
What
literally
every
are the
white person
victims
goes through.
and the
You know,
villains of
right, man?
society.
Because
Y'all
you
get to
know,
be the
right?
best
Tell
victim
me how
while
I'm
being
racist.
a
Tell me how
Hey,
you're
villain,
bro,
racist.
even in your
Tell
own
me how I
community.
did
play a
You
violin
tell
birthed
song.
me
the pew
do it. Yeah,
pewers,
let's keep
you
going.
birthed them, you
Yeah,
raised them.
tell me.
You don't get
Oh, you're
blamed for
right.
it.
Oh my God, I have
Get
so
out
many.
of
Ma'am, you're
here.
the federal citizen. When you come with government assistance, y'all literally win on every
Y'all,
Hit the
section.
y'all, you want
road,
to keep
Jack.
saying
Literally.
things like that? Guess what?
Literally,
You're
your
just
YT
as
More,
skin
racist
more,
as
has
the
gave
more,
you
man.
every
more, more,
privilege in the
more. Hit
world.
the
You're
So
road,
go
just
sit
Jack.
as
down.
racist.
And
Go
don't you
sit your
come
dry,
back
pale
no
face ass down.
more. What you say? Hit the road, Jack.
I got no worry. I got no worry. Sister D got it.
That's
She
because we
got
was
it.
talking about them fine ass sisters, and that's when she got mad because we was talking about what she don't got.
But yeah, like I
Just
Yeah, like I said before, Becky was right beside Brad, causing mayhem and havoc. So no, none of that.
mm-hmm. That was wild. Yeah, nah, she was mad because we was talking about some fine ass women, and she knows she don't got that. You know what I'm saying? They
Hey,
feel real.
well,
She try
well,
to make
maybe she
fun of
can do
herself.
like Kim Kardashian and spend money on it. I don't know if she's mad.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. Um, were you done? You were doing yeah, you were
Oh,
talking
right.
about yeah,
But yeah, that answers that question. But and can black and white cultures fully exist? I mean, when you look at countries that are racially diverse, the United States,
yeah,
Britain, Canada, and you see the racial conflict, I think that answers clearly no. They can't coexist. They can't live peacefully. And you know, uh, desegregation. Because I was reading about in Black America when besides the movement to desegregate, there was also a movement to try and get Black Americans their own independent state.
yeah,
Now, seeing how desegregation worked out and living side by side with them worked out for Black Americans, I think anyone, I mean, they still have the same problems today that they did during segregation. I'd say probably worse, actually, because, I mean, in terms of economics and owning business, they're far worse off today than they were back in the 50s and the 40s.
yeah.
So, I mean, and it's just like I see very few differences with
Everything.
the safety
Um,
and the state of Black Americans today versus then. So, I mean, no, they can't coexist. They never will be able to. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Go ahead, keep going.
and then the last question is modern Christianity racist, right? My opinion on this is like, for one, Christianity, when people say that Christianity was invented, and I've heard it before that Christianity was invented by Europeans, right?
I've
Here's
heard
the
it.
thing. I've heard it before. First of all, they, and even if it sounds like I'm taking shots, these people were pagans who lived in caves, did human sacrifices. There's no way they could be responsible for anything resembling civilization. These people didn't know how to bathe, for crying out loud. So, here's the thing. They can't, even though they tried to, could never completely corrupt a religion that was never theirs to begin with, right? Because, I mean, even in the name Jesus, Jesus of Nazareth, not Jesus of Berlin, not Jesus of London, not Jesus of Moscow. He was
Yeah.
not a white man, and he never was.
Hmm.
So, I mean, maybe, racists were able to use and manipulate Christianity for their advantages, but in and of itself, no, because actually, what's funny, if you've heard of, like, the Haitian Revolution and how that started. A good Haitian friend of mine was actually telling me this, that with the slaves in Haiti, there was a few of them that could read, and they would read select Bible verses to the other slaves. And apparently, how this story goes, that there was one slave that rebelled, and you know why? Because he read the entire Bible,
Mm.
which
Wow.
is what led him to rebel.
Sounds like Nat Turner.
Yeah.
Nat Turner.
Instead of reading the select verses, he read the entire Bible, and that's what led him to rebel and lead other slaves to rebellion
That's literally
against the French.
crazy. Wow.
Son, his
Yeah.
name was Toussaint Louran. I mean, I'm a French speaking, brother
Oh, was that his
also.
name?
Yeah, Toussaint.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
from Togo, so me and the Haitian, we
Togo.
have, we got a lot of
Yeah.
similar culture because there
Yeah.
was my people, they was taken from Togo and Benin,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and because when it comes
Yeah.
to Togo, y'all heard about Haitian voodoo. I mean, that's what Togo is
Yeah.
what is really at. We got voodoo market in actually the town that I was born at. French have a lot
Hmm.
of a lot of influence in Togo. So you're gonna see all the French colonies country. We're still paying taxes to France right now. We need to stop that.
The
They
CFA,
collected
they you need to get rid of that
over.
currency.
Yes, we still using the CFA. Why are they using euro? It don't make no sense. So even the president, in our country is a sellout. We've been known as a sellout because he's working with the French. It's gonna be a revelation
Countries that
soon
use it.
because the youth is not going for it. It's been a lot of talk. There's a lot of Togolese on this app. I go to their room and listen to them, and they're not having it, and they're tired of the things that's happening. But when we're talking about Christianities and stuff like that, yeah, Christianity was born in Africa, and when people have to understand, they take it 12 tribes with the black people, right? Jacob and his kids. They was born in Africa. Then they become a nation. That nation, and Christianity was born, out of all that. But yeah, we can't give all the credit to white people about Christianity. But yeah, modern Christianity, because since they want to take credit for it, yeah, it is racist because they're pushing white Jesus on people. That's become a supremacy, right? It's the things that become a system for them, they use, and to dominate. So therefore, yeah, it is racist. But yeah, when it comes to the rule of Christianity itself, we can give them credit to them, because yeah, Africa, is the mother of all thing, science,
Right.
whatever, mathematics, whatever you think of, Africa is the mother of all thing. And people have to
Of
respect that and
course.
understand that. That's what it is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And as you say, mother of all things, I mean, some of the oldest Christian states in the world are, African nations. I mean, it's had a footprint in especially East Africa for thousands of years. And meanwhile, like I said, the Europeans were still in caves practicing paganism. So yeah. But yeah, I mean the CFA Frank. I hope, as I'm watching Burkina Faso and Traore and what he's doing, hopefully next on the agenda is getting rid of the CFA because that's long overdue. That needs to go.
Yeah, hopefully they can start it.
Yeah.
I seen what happened with President Bongo, but it sounds like that was a coup attempt by the French government. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like the French government
Hmm.
set them up for that one. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That one, the Gabon coup's a bit unclear about what's actually
Yeah, you know what
happening.
I'm saying? Yeah.
Um,
So, but
it's
but
like. Uh,
mhm.
Like it seems like the French were disappointed about him getting thrown out of office, so it's a good sign. But I don't know.
Yeah, but the response wasn't the same as it was with Niger. Like it was
That's
like
true. So
hell no. Like and the funny thing about Niger is they told France to leave, get the hell up out of
Mhm.
here. France said we will not go publicly. They're like we're not leaving, and
Yeah.
now that they've left, they're saying they were held hostage. Like
Halt.
how are you hostage? But they were telling you to leave. Like
A
make that make
Malian a Malian official said that we'll drive you to the airport if you want. No one's holding you hostage. We'll
It's
drive you.
crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I'm watching very closely what's going on in the motherland.
Yeah,
These people are
for sure.
delusional, man. These French people, they gotta go. They gotta go.
They gotta
It's time
go.
for them to go,
Hey,
man.
I want to see the
these
Boers
frogs
go.
have to go, man.
Yeah, I
They
want to
gotta
see.
go.
I want to see what Malema's going to do too. And
Yep.
what's going on with Zimbabwe? I didn't check in over there. They had the
Well,
election.
they did, but I mean, there's of course with elections, there's always a lot of legitimacy concerns arguing about whether it was or not. Really applaud some of what they've been doing because they banned the exportation of raw minerals, specifically lithium, so that everything has to be processed
Yeah, I
there
heard that. Right.
before being
Yeah, I think it's
exported.
crazy that
Great
that's
move.
not on our news.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
What's
Don't
not
get
on the news?
this new.
Like
No,
everything that's
it's
going on in
impossible for because they
Africa.
control the media.
Yeah,
Yeah, they control the media.
of
Awesome
course.
sauce. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Oh, I'm 37. I'm black, and my pronouns are she, her.
All right. Thank you, sister. And go ahead. What were you saying?
Um, to answer the questions, I think that anybody can experience racism for sure. It doesn't take much to be a racist. It's just part of your upbringing because we're not born that way. We're all products of our environment. So,
You say anybody, you mean anybody, anybody?
yeah, I think anybody can be
All right.
racist.
So what? How does racism affect you as a black woman?
Oh man, I've been experiencing racism a lot as a black woman, like from the cops, from teachers, from my own race, like
Okay.
yeah, and then from
So
being
from the cops,
pretty.
how did you experience it from the cops?
Oh man. So, and from the justice system. So I was actually arrested. I dated a white dude, right? And I used to like put hands on him all the time. And so the officers that would come out there, they were also white. And I went to jail one time and I was crying and this officer like tried to, well, he did like restrain me or whatever. And while he was doing that, he stuck his finger in my little yap yap.
Ass in the damn TV.
And so
Yes, they did.
I was like, what
They
the
put the
F? But I
hard eyes.
saw him looking before
Put
he
your
did
clothes
it.
on, Jess. Stop playing.
And so when I went into the courtroom or whatever, I told the judge on camera that I had been SA and could they send me some assistance down there. They did not. And when I got out of jail, I went to go file charges against this officer.
What? Y'all heard me? Wait, did y'all hear me?
Yeah, we heard you.
Oh, okay. My bad. My girl's walking around there naked, and I'm trying to tell her they gonna see her. All right, go ahead.
No, somebody said, how was that racism? Well, I get pulled over, like asked about my car, all type of stuff from the cops. So yeah, I've experienced racism a lot. I feel like if I was a white woman and I said that I had been SA, they would have called in the
Yeah, you
troops.
just
Like,
contradicted yourself. You just contradicted yourself in what you just said. How can everybody experience racism if you just said that if it was a YT woman, she wouldn't experience what you just experienced, but you just said we all experience racism. What
because
you
a
might
white
experience
T
is
woman can
racism,
experience
but
racism from a black
no,
person.
she just no, you can't. Black. Okay, do you understand even the definition of what racism is? It's literally the meaning of a power tied to a system. So
She
literally
don't
using
know
the form.
that.
So you're literally giving me your example. I'm sorry that happened to you. Is example of how someone has literally used their racism and their privilege against you, and literally systematically was able to violate you. A YT woman, you can't do that. Tell me a situation where a YT woman that can happen and get away with it. You just said it wouldn't happen to a YT woman. Therefore, they cannot experience racism. What they can experience is
What if
prejudice,
she
and
got
even
pulled
based
over
on,
by a black cop
ma'am,
and that happened to her from a black
and
cop? Would
and
that
then
be
the
Boy,
black
this
cop
girl,
wouldn't
racism?
have a job and would be in jail.
she lost, bro. Listen, I
Y'all
think
attached to these demons, and it's like y'all forget y'all black.
yeah. Awesome sauce. Thank you for coming up. You're a little bit. I think you should maybe just learn a little bit. I feel like you're not all the way there yet, and I don't want this to be a traumatic live for you to be on, sister. So
It's not. I'm always up to be educated. Like, I'm not taking nothing that
yeah,
she said in like a harmful way. Clearly, she was just trying to educate me.
you know what I'm
That's how
saying.
I'm
But
taking
that's
it.
what I'm saying. But we are deep into Pan Africanism, the definition of race as outlined by doctors and scholars. This is not one of those debate lives where we don't know much about nothing and we're just up here talking out our ass. Like we're actually bringing up geopolitics and you know a lot of different deeper topics. To say that a black cop is black people being racist is like I could tell you're not in the deep waters with us. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I'm not that deep. I am not that deep.
So
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna hold you to that.
But I will
Um,
follow you so you can educate me and maybe,
absolutely.
maybe I can learn something.
All right. Thanks for coming up, sister.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. You see what I'm saying? You gotta get a people grace, man. The sisters, you know what I'm saying? That's my thing. I have a heart for our people when we say certain things and we just really you can tell they don't know. Dr. Umar says always know the difference between an ingro and a coon. You know what I'm saying? An ingro is you know what I mean by ingro. I'm trying not to say the word egro, you know what I'm saying? they don't really know. And then the Siun knows what they doing is harmful. They know what they saying. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I could tell, because I would have said certain things too if I was, I'm reading Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Chancellor Williams and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. Yeah, Candace is a C-un. You know what I'm saying? She got the C in her name. And I hope nobody saw my wife, but Christian said I wasn't muted. So that's why I said that. I was like, did y'all hear me? And then D said yes. So that's
Yeah, we heard you.
Saw
We
her.
heard
I
you.
saw her earlier. That's why I said I saw that silhouette.
nah,
Like,
you
hold on.
seen her, but you ain't see her, hopefully.
Yeah, we
I'm
heard you
telling you, I
too.
seen your
She
wife,
better
man.
she better not. She know listen, all right, you know what I'm saying? We
It
we
was a lot going on, though. She was just saying a lot of, and so a lot of people didn't caught on. But yeah, we heard you.
yeah, nah, I heard some of it. She wasn't. I wasn't ready to unpack that with y'all. Like that, it would have been too hard of a headache. She, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like arguing with somebody from Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like people from
Say
Florida.
this part though, brother. When we say can, where is it at? Where is it at? Okay, should a white woman be considered a minority? Let's be honest. The YT woman gets every benefit of being the victim and the villain in society. That's why Karen is a thing. She gets to go out and pick on people and create situations and then cry and become the very victim of the villainhood that she created. After she does that, she's the biggest recipient of any form of government assistance. She gets to not only sit on her ASS, but I get to be the face of what she is receiving. And on top of that, when her son and her husband and her father go out and pew up schools, movie theaters, concerts, and churches, she gets to act like she don't know nothing about it and play completely like she is blind to all of it. Not only do you get every benefit of society where you get to be the dainty, soft, also the face of beauty, and I don't know how the hell that's been happening, but you get to be the face of beauty in every reflective mirror, but yet you get to sit here and say, I'm a minority and benefit off what we as black people have literally marched and pushed forward. So not only is my back broken from being at the bottom of the damn barrel, but you get to stand on that even in regards to how we physically show up. Because now you can buy the body that I was born with. Mm-hmm. So how are they any kind of minority? I don't get it, but okay, I'm gonna go back on mute.
They not, and them being considered a minority is actually making our situation worse as a people. Like I said earlier, if the resources that went to minorities didn't primarily go to white women, maybe we'd have more resources in our communities, including jobs from affirmative action, grants, for protected groups, certain things. Even when it goes to welfare and food stamps, things like that. A lot of it goes to white women, and they're the largest. They're actually the majority of Americans, but they're also a minority. Some. How are you a minority and a majority? How are you oppressed and the oppressor? It's what, like, this makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, uh, Mr. Elite Minds, you'll be my last guest for the night. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm East African. He said age, I'm 30 years old, and yeah.
Are you indigenous to East Africa?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna consider you black man.
Yeah, I'm African. Yeah. One black.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right,
We're
and
we're
go
we're, we're
ahead.
all we're
Answer
all
the question
black.
first.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, as far as the can anyone experience racism? Can anyone experience racism? Um, I
So
guess yeah, I mean, people can experience racism depending on what group they come from. Like, you could be racist towards Indian people, Chinese people, Middle Eastern, but of course specifically, yeah, I mean in America,
Well, what
racism is definitely different.
country are you from, brother? What
Go ahead.
country in East Africa are you from? What country in East Africa are you from?
I'm Somali.
Oh yeah. Okay, go ahead. That
Yeah.
gives it all. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're gonna let you
Yeah.
finish, but go ahead. Since you the last guest, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. So I guess as far as like racism goes, like, yeah, I think you could be discriminatory towards people regardless of where they're from. As far as like, should white women be considered a minority? White women, I mean, definitely, absolutely not. I think they benefit, like Dee said it, they definitely benefit from what do you call it, affirmative action more than anyone else. And can black and white cultures fully coexist? I mean, a lot of black people did fully integrate after segregation to kind of like be a part of, I guess, the system or benefit from the desegregation. So I don't know, has it worked? Is it worse off today? I mean, that's something we can discuss. And is modern Christianity racist? I think from the beginning, Christianity has always been racist. So that's my take on the whole conversation. Why is everybody typing red flag? But go ahead, you guys can explain to me why people are
Because
writing
you're
red flag.
Somalian and y'all are the Dominicans of Africa. That's what we call you in America. Y'all are the Dominicans of Africa.
Okay, okay, fair enough.
You probably don't know what that means, but yeah, yeah.
No, I do know what I think it refers to the joke from what's his name, Godfrey, the comedian.
Godfrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's credited with that joke because we've been saying that in America for a long time. I'm
But
from the East
everything
Coast,
he says
so
is just funnier though.
yeah. I'm from the East Coast, where I'm from. One of my first girlfriends were Dominican, so you could not tell her she's black at all to
Oh,
this
you
day.
too?
Yeah, no, listen, she was darker than me, but
Oh,
she did not consider herself a black person at all. Nope.
Can
what?
I can I
You know?
can I can I quickly ask you guys a question? As far as like the term black, I know it obviously exists. Like I think I had this conversation, brother, before with the host. As far as like the word black, do you guys think it exists in Africa? Like, do you think it exists in like if people are in Nigeria? Do you think that the word exists within their culture, or people identify themselves based on like Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Fulani? Or in Ethiopia, for example, they may identify themselves as like Habash or Tigray or Ahmadic. So meaning, does the
Well,
term black only?
let me take that for you because I'm from West Africa, right? You are what you speak. I think I spoke about that in this, in this slide before. But like for my brothers and sisters that are in diaspora, they don't have that luxury. They talk about that also because what happened. They've been stripped for their culture and custom. So they don't have that. For us, we do. From those of us from West Africa that was born, we are by we you go by what you speak, your language. Well, that's the land actually you was from. For me, example, I'm from the Ewe land in West Africa. Before 1884, it was no such a thing as Togo, Nigeria, Ghana, none of that. Before 1884, we are identified by the language we speak, and that's our territory, and that's the land that we from. So I'm from Ewe land. That means I speak Ewe language, and my culture is Ewe. Right then, they got the Igbos, you got the Yoruba, you got the Fon, you got the Ga, you got the so on and so forth. And guess what? We all got similar culture, and then we got oral tradition that we were the same people. We came up, from somewhere before we landed in West Africa. We still have a custom, culture celebration that we still do year to year until today. Our culture is still preserved pretty much. So when you heard about Atlantic slave trade, those we our majority of people was taken from West Africa. Therefore, you understand these people was taken from tribe like that, right? Common sense would tell you, critical thinking would tell you that if they were taken from Yoruba tribe, the Ewe tribe, the Fon tribe, this tribe before they went to the West. Yet, if they're not speaking those language, they can identify with those tribes that like us we can't. So you asking that question is like, okay, I mean, you from Africa, you should already know that answer already. Our people are, we have to teach that. That's what we're here for. We have to connect those dots. And our people are doing it. We have the information and technology to do that right now. People are doing their DNA and they're tracing them back to those tribes in West Africa, or the tribe that it was taken from. I mean, that's just a few steps that you can take to get to what you want to, those information that you're looking for. But for people, brothers and sisters from the West, yeah, they can identify by those languages because it was stripped from them. That's why I tell you, if you don't know, the language that you speak, if you speak any European language, then your culture was stripping from you. Your African culture was stripped from you. Example, the French speak French. the English speak English, the German speak German, so far and so forth. So if you find yourself in this world today, you speak in those European language, and you're not speaking the Yoruba, the Ewe, this language that we speak and I'm speaking, then the number was dim from you. Racism was done to you. You are the product of racism. You are the part of colonialism. So we have to understand those. So that's what I want to touch on. If you can understand, Mr.
Man,
Elite.
that was, hey man, that was amazing, man. Send this man his flowers. That's what we need to hear. You know what I'm saying? We need to hear more of that coming from brothers from the motherland. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what my live is all about. I've said the same thing you just said in different ways. But to hear it from a brother from the continent, just break it down for us like that. That just shows y'all that there is a universal, but a worldwide sense of Pan-Africanism. So you know what I'm saying, like what he said, we're all one people, and we are African Americans. We have been stripped from that cultural identity from the motherland. We've been stripped of our customs and our cultures. However, we're the first Africans to consider ourselves a continental identity. So we consider ourselves African, all of Africa. We don't have we can't pinpoint an exact tribe because our ancestors come from all of Africa, man. I might have East African in me, or if I don't, my wife might, because when we were brought to the Americas, they mixed us all up on breeding farms where we didn't get to say, no, they're not from my tribe. Oh, thank you for the gift, Francesca. Appreciate you. But yeah, so we mixed with the whole continent. So we identify with the whole continent. And through us, we've come up, Ethiopianism is what started Pan-Africanism, and that was on the continent. But that Pan-African identity helped unite all of us in the West, and now it's starting to take root in the continent, and we're starting to all see how we are all connected in one people. Even though there's different cultures on the continent, we all know about yams, we all know about cassava, we all know about shaking our hips, we all know about braids or locks or some form of an afro. We all mostly don't use sunblock on our skin. You know what I'm saying? So we do have more in common than what we don't have in common. And I think that was well said, brother.
Brother, can I quickly just add something to what you said as far as like Ethiopians? If you guys, there are people from different communities that feel like Ethiopians or people from the Horn are not black. So like, what would you say to that? Like, as far as like Pan-Africanism, because there's a disconnect, right? There are people from every single community that will say certain people. I've heard even people say albino people are not black. So what would you guys say to that? Like, there's no consensus between everybody. Pan-Africanism definitely has their view, but what would you say to the people that
To
have
be
a
honest,
different view from what you're saying?
it's not for everybody, and everybody can't come. But the ways to identify as a Pan African include your genotype or your phenotype and how you identify. So you coming up here when I ask you if you're a black man and you're telling me that you have ancestry from the continent of Africa, I don't even have to know your phenotype or how you look. You could look like I don't know. J. Cole or Logic. But if you say that you have African ancestry, you're from the continent, like you said, but everybody from the continent is African. But if you have African ancestry and you identify as black full time, now we can tell when you're faking. We can tell when you're black when you're in front of us and then white when you're in front of someone else. But if you identify full time, then in the eyes of Pan Africanism, you're a black man.
I know black. I know black.
But
I know black
exactly. Now, if you have the phenotype, meaning you look black, and you have a African parent, but when we ask you if you're black, you say I know black, then you ain't one of us just as much as any other white team man, an Asian person, or whatever. Because we don't need you coming in here bringing that mayonnaise.
But I've heard Dominicans though. I've heard this explanation from Dominicans that they say that when they say they're not black, they're trying to say they're not black American, but they don't deny their African roots. Do you believe them?
I've never heard them say that.
No, I know black. No
Oh,
black. No go Blackie.
Yeah, I hate to say that. Because in their colonized, country where they were taught to bring themselves out of blackness.
Right.
Yes.
So there's literally a racial, there was a law. The government was pushing for them to literally YT their race.
Yeah, I dated a Dominican sister at one point who didn't consider herself a sister, and she read me a poem about keeping the race pure and this whole thing. It was disgusting. So they really got
Read
some.
you a poem?
Yeah, they got some. It was a racist poem. They got some
Oh.
brainwashing they got to do. They got to cleanse
Oh, okay.
themselves. Yeah, it's deep. But yeah. Well, thanks for coming up, everybody. I'm gonna go take it down, man. I got work in the morning. Much appreciate y'all for coming up.
I appreciate everybody
Night.
that sent a gift. I appreciate
You have a
everybody,
good night, bro.
most
All
definitely.
right.
We appreciate you, brother, for
I followed
bringing this
all the
platform.
African black men, the real black men. I followed all of them.
Absolutely.
Most
And
definitely. I follow you. I follow you too, Sister D. Most definitely for
yep,
your knowledge. Keep educating us.
Hey,
Keep educating us. I love
we
it.
gotta
All the
keep building
education.
bridges.
absolutely.
Yes, most definitely.
We should do a Pan African live. I'll come up with some questions, and the only problem is, this TikTok is not just us. So certain things I don't want to talk about. Like I wouldn't want to talk about, Dominican brothers and sisters and stuff like that because I don't want to show them our weakness. You know what I'm saying? And it's all,
Discord. You
you
got
know.
Discord, right? We can get.
Yeah, Discord. Yeah, the Discord. We can talk about it.
Yeah,
Discord.
we get on Discord. Y'all get on Discord, man. Discord is safe, man. Most
Yeah,
definitely, that's a safe place. More, y'all get on Discord. I know the brother got a Discord. Y'all get the link, and
yeah,
we can definitely do that on air. But yeah, that's another place that we can build on.
absolutely. All right, y'all. Good night. Appreciate y'all. Check out
Night.
Discord,
Have a
YouTube.
good night.
Yeah, you can go live on
Sorry, thanks
Discord.
for the gifts.
All right. Yep. Peace,
Have a good
Francesca.
night. Bye.
Molly. Peace.